Show.
All right. And like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
All right. So we're back with another good one. There's been a term that's been reverberating in the streets per se. So the term black fatigue has been introduced by a white woman inside a car and has been picked up by almost, I guess, all the major commentators, whether it's been black, conservative, white, liberal, to everything in between. This term of being tired of Black American culture. They say they're tired of the race baiting, they're tired of the victimhood claiming, the marching, the bonnets. I forget what else they say. The lashes. They just tired of everything. So we're gonna talk about it. Is this just critique? Is this propaganda? Is this Caucasian people escaping accountability? I don't know. We'll see. But before we get into that, we have an amazing panel. We'll start at the top. Well, wait. Before we get there, Discord link is in the chat. First call-ins always go through the Discord. Make sure y'all hit that. Y'all see everybody's Cash App up there. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App. Make sure y'all show love to the panelists. And with that said, at top, G, talk to him.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check it out wherever you get your pods. Just search GSHPOD. Ha. All
right, the Charlotte legend. Some call him A Black TV. Some Black is Gold. Talk to him.
Yo, what's up, everybody, man? Happy Wednesday. A Black, like you said, follow me at Black is Gold. And yeah, let's get it.
All right. 1/3 of the To Be Fair Show. The host of the To Be Fair Show. You can catch him around with Benny the Butcher and Johnny P's Caddy. Talk to him.
What's going on, family? What's going on? Glad to be back. Definitely looking forward to another fruitful discussion. And y'all tap in with the shows, live chat, like, comment, subscribe below.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm almost positive that it's you. Yeah, it is. I'm dealing with your mic. I'm gonna mute you right now. All right, so there has been a couple hot topics that have again been ringing off inside, whether it's the group chats or the internets. There's one smaller one we'll start with and we'll build our way up. Of course, everybody know Diddy. But before we get to Diddy, there is another situation that kind of deals within the realm of the whole Rock Nation debacle. And let me see, I think G sent in a meme that deals with it. I'll play it really quickly and we can kind of talk about it. There's been some developments with the Tory Lanez trial. I'll push play. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom. The prison system can no longer guarantee his safety, and that alone should be grounds for immediate action. But combine that with the overwhelming evidence of a botched investigation, and this becomes not just a legal issue, but a morale emergency. Tory Lanez deserves a new trial. He deserves due process. He deserves a pardon. And if justice still matters in America, he deserves to go home. So what now? What do we do now? We're all here today. We are calling on Governor Gavin Newsom, the California Attorney General.
Yeah, it kind of goes for a while, but just to save time, nonetheless, two things happened. The bodyguard for is it Meg or is it Kelsey? He came out and he said that Kelsey was the one that shot the shot. As well, Tory got stabbed up 15 times in whatever jail he's in. I don't know, fellas. What is y'all initial reactions? Yeah, talk to us.
Definitely sad, man. I feel like he already serving his time, paying for whatever role he played in it. But, to be getting shanked up like he's some type of, drug lord up in there, it's like kind of wild. So, I mean, I definitely feel bad for him. I'm glad he made it through and survived it. And I hope they can put him in some type of protective custody until he get like a new case or a trial. As far as the Kelsey thing, I feel like we've been saying that from the jump. Even that was his whole case, was that he didn't shoot her. Somebody else did, but he couldn't prove that he didn't have no involvement. So they saying that the girl was shooting and he tried to grab the gun from her, which caused it to discharge more. But yeah, man. And so people are like, well, why wouldn't he snitch on her if he was having sex with both of them and all of this? And I don't know, but I do feel like it's starting to kind of get a little extreme. I mean, Megan, she's fine. I don't think I can't speak on her mental health, but she don't really seem traumatized. Her life is going on. She's, at the Met Gala, she having the time of her life. And even after the incident, I remember she was on a boat, twerking. So I just feel like it's kind of extreme punishment on him right now. And I feel like a retrial without all the media hype around it and public opinion around it, might do him some good. But I hope the best for him. I don't really know.
Johnny, talk to us.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we could hear you the whole time. It was just something that was maybe it was just something that was scratching. But is it free to boy Tory or
I mean, I think you got to do the retrial. I think like since the trial has come out, there's been evidence that wasn't, that come to light that wasn't discussed in the trial. So I think, anytime that happens, you almost have grounds for a retrial. One of the things I saw this week about it that kind of pissed me off was is a bunch of black women, and they was on they were kind of trolling toward it. And I the man what he did was true. The man serving his time. There's no need to go back and re-troll the guy. If it's a fair trial and you believe he did it, he's serving his time. To go back and troll the guy, it's like it is.
What was the trolls that they were saying?
They were saying night day star and like it was a bunch of
they were saying it's dealing with him getting stabbed.
Yeah. As far as just trolling that, and I was like, what's the point? And how is that productive to society or even the black community? As far as if he did it, he's serving his time. If he didn't, he needs a retrial. But to sit and drag the man after he's in jail doesn't serve anybody. And I ain't necessarily I ain't think that was I ain't like that person.
Yeah, I saw a meme with somebody and they had somebody being shanked in the prison, and it was like courtesy of the stallion or something like that.
Shit.
It's like that's just dirty work.
Crazy.
That's dirty work.
Man, and that's the nasty thing is that like all we do is play on the internet all day. I seen the picture of Paul Pierce in that wheelchair, and then they had Jason Tatum, and he said he can't do nothing original. I'm like, damn. Damn. Like niggas just play all day. G, talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, look, Johnny, some people might say he's not a part of the black community, but we don't necessarily need to get into that discussion. But when it comes to the situation that took place, I mean, look, this is why like if you know if what is true as it relates to him not shooting the girl, the fact that he went to jail for this person, it's just like, why would any nigga just voluntarily go to jail? I don't give a fuck how much money you got, like how lit you are, etc. Once you behind those walls, man, it's a different game. And this is just, more just another reason to highlight, like, yo, that's just not a place you want to play with. Like, that's why your freedom is important, and you should value that over damn near everything else as a black man in this country. And so the fact that he was able to get touched up like that, even with his quote unquote status and resources, etc.
I'm still hitting in PC, right?
I'm not sure what the situation is, but with somebody like that, I would imagine you've got those relationships established, whether it be monetarily or whatever, where you're paying niggas to take care of certain things while you behind there. You know what I'm saying? I just would imagine. Plus, it's like this nigga was recording very good quality music from behind bars. It literally went a couple years with seemingly like always in good spirit, seemingly like everything's good, everything is what it is. And then, a dude who already in there for murder, poke him up 14 times, like multiple places in around the body, the face, the neck, the head. Like, that's just a terrible thing to hear. And it's like,
I ain't know exactly where it was at.
He got him in the back, the front, the face, the back of the head. Like, he got touched up pretty bad. Like, I heard Whack 100 saying that this dude probably had the double time strapped to the wrist, so that it was like every hit was like a contact type of deal. Like, he came in there with the joint strapped to the wrist type deal. That's Whack 100 be talking all type of shit like that, but it could or could not be true. Reality is he got touched up like way too crazy. And like the white woman said, man, like, because you can believe in conspiracies, you cannot, but the reality is this incident took place with this key piece of information bubbling to the surface, to the public. And like I was talking earlier, like, man, like, people might say, well, why didn't Tory admit at the time, like, what really happened if that's the case? But my thing is, like, if you remember back to the time, I think all of them must have had a pact or something. Because even Meg was saying, like, nah, he didn't do it. No, he didn't do it. Like, she was lying about their relationship. Like, everybody was lying at the beginning. Like, they was all on the same page. And that phone call he had with the girl, like, it ultimately was his downfall. But that, to me, insinuated that they were all going to be on the same page about moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody at some point reneged the deal, and then the flips, the script flipped. So I don't really know what actually happened, but I think the evidence is leaning toward the fact that Tory's innocent over what Meg said happened, in my opinion.
Yeah, and do we really know who this Kelsey chick is? Like, she's some regular baddie, or could she be connected out here? Could she be connected to some killers and stuff? So I mean,
well, she's been connected to a couple ball players and rappers and stuff. So
she's supposed to be married, like, too.
Her family and her family. Well, I don't know where she come from. She could be connected to some killers that made him keep quiet. So I don't know. We never know.
I mean, but it looked like at the end of the day, like, black women like the dog Tory for not protecting black women. But like, at the end of the day, he was in a weird, a tough situation, and he tried his best to protect one of the black women. Like even if the girl's shooting and you go to try to stop the shooting, that's you trying to protect. If you don't snitch on the girl and send her to jail, that's you trying to protect. I mean, on both sides, it looked like he was trying to do his best, and he just ended up on both sides turning on him.
I do agree, but the thing about Tory, which is like you reap what you sow, when the whole thing was going down, he definitely like leaned into the troll role. When all this was going on, he was making music videos and holding up like guns and shit like that. Like, he was definitely like leaning into the troll.
After that was after Megan was like, he shot me.
Right. And all I'm saying is that when you lean into being a troll, niggas are going to troll you back.
That's true. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. He leaned into that energy, and that's why I think they're attacking him with that energy
but
online.
I mean, like,
I don't think it's right.
if you're troll, I mean, hey, but if you didn't do something, you can't troll about it. If somebody's trying illegally, you don't have to like you should go to jail for trolling.
But
yeah, but you're trolling about a woman getting shot, and so when you look at the optics of a black man making fun of a black woman getting shot, the optic of it is you're trolling a victim of some incident in which a lot of people think you're responsible.
Especially if you're the number one suspect too. Like
I'm just saying, the optics of it is the optics.
I agree. Like if you decide to jump into the troll bag, like you can't get mad when niggas troll you back.
But I understand the troll bag, but if I didn't do something, whether I troll or not, I shouldn't go to jail for it.
Well, I agree with that. You just moved the goalpost. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
you should have said from the jump.
You're talking about them trolling him. Like if he was engaging in trolling, then I imagine they're going to troll him back as soon as they get the chance.
And man, do got like a fan base for like she got a fan base online.
Your optics are important, especially in the midst of that. Like the court of public opinion is real, whether it's legal or illegal. Being likable is a big deal. So I mean, you need to be out here kissing babies, community service, donating to schools.
Have your family sitting in the stands while they talk about you getting semen rubbed on your nipples. You got to have that support for the court to see you as a family man through all of this.
Yeah, I mean,
imagine being Mama Combs and you got to hear that shit.
Oh man!
Right. Before we segue over there,
imagine being Cassie's kid.
Oh man!
Before we segue over here, we were speaking about rigged trials. And it got me thinking. This isn't a basketball podcast, but there was somebody in the chat that was smiling ear to ear off the rigged NBA's lottery picks. What do y'all say? Was it rigged? Did they have backdoor conversations? Did they say, well, if you trade Luka to one of the bigger markets, we're gonna let you get the next great white hope?
No.
And Dallas was, we do good with the great white hopes. We had a Nash, we had a Dirk, we had a Luka. You give us Captain America, we're gonna make it happen. Or is it just a 1% coinky-dink?
Nah, we made sacrifices for this. This is a part of the grand plan. I might have to name my son Nico. I'm telling you, this right here was for all the chips. This mastermind here said, all right, look, what we got to do. He gave the league what they wanted so he could get what he needed. He said, yo, LeBron's about to be out of here. Y'all know y'all need Luka in LA. I don't want this nigga no way. He don't work out. We don't want to pay him the money. Look, get him out of here and give us Cooper Flag, and I guarantee you we're going to shut this shit down for the next decade.
One of them.
And the handshake was agreed. I mean, just look at the team built around Cooper Flag. Oh, my goodness.
Around him. Real FWA.
Cooper Flag, first off, he already done got hurt. But it's like, when the last time somebody came out of college in recent years and really changed the team? It's like number one draft pick is dope, but when you're really good, you coming out of high school, you coming from another country, like when the last time somebody really came and really impacted the team, a rookie? I think Wemby came from France. I think. Yeah.
I'll say Paulo
Banchero.
Sure. Okay, I'll take that for sure.
Zion.
Zion a bust. I don't know, man. It's like I feel like the top trash 3 teams should definitely get the top 3 picks, and then they start the lottery. I don't think it's fair. Like you got teams. I mean, some teams tank, but some teams really trash, and they need like a chance. I think it's good for the NBA when you give them teams a chance to like land a top player and boost their cachet. But it's like, I mean, they got Kyrie, they got AD. Dallas ain't hurting over there. I mean, you got some real trash.
Whoa, this nigga was getting death threats.
Who?
The city was in shambles. The city was in shambles. Just before that draft, the city was in shambles. They were hurting bad.
Shout out Dallas. I'm gonna be in Dallas tomorrow, actually. Yeah. G, you done been to Dallas. Any good little spots for me to make sure I hit?
None in particular, like, but typically, like, I always go lean towards the Texas barbecue whenever I'm in Texas. Like, generally speaking, like, if I can go to like an authentic type hole in the wall barbecue spot, that's gonna be what I'm looking for.
I don't know my way around Dallas. I don't know about the hole in the walls, but
just stay away from Oak Cliff. But you
yeah, I ain't taking no chances. They be
But,
shooting in the interstate out there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
35.
Yeah,
They don't care. I'll say this about the lottery, though. I'll say this about the lottery. I don't think it's rigged. I think Nico got saved. I think Nico got a blessing sent down from above. I will say this. I think the Hornets are cursed. I think like with good luck comes bad luck. And I think there's a balance of it.
That's why they got to move the team to Raleigh, man.
Shut up, man. God, stop.
Definitely not.
I guarantee you attendance wouldn't even be a problem if this franchise was in Raleigh, man. I guarantee you.
We still got good attendance, even when we was trash. We had number one attendance in the league.
Nigga, what? Hey, you better stop the lies. The Hornets ain't never had number one attendance for nothing.
Yeah, they did. That's why they brought it back to the. That's why they brought it back.
Are you talking about the 90s?
They sold it out.
You talking about the 90s? You talking about Grandma Mom? You talking about those days?
In recent years,
not recent years. Charlotte ain't never had number one attendance.
When they brought back that Hornets, when they brought back the name,
to bring the buzz back shit.
Yeah,
I'm not believing it.
The issue was that, and even when Kemba and Al Horford had their little run, like it was decent for sure. It's just the fact that the past 3 years, Lonzo gets hurt quarter through the year, and then it's tanked the rest of the way. It don't be no reason to go to the game no more. Like this year started off all right. Niggas was excited about going to the games, and then Lonzo get hurt, Trey Man get hurt. What? Yeah, I keep saying LaMelo. That's what I meant. LaMelo get hurt. Trey Man
Melo
get
gotta
hurt.
go, man. Melo not serious.
That's what I say. Gotta trade that nigga,
serious.
Man.
Like
I ain't rolling.
He's not a winner, bro. He's not a winner.
He's not efficient. He don't play smart. He don't take good shots. And he's leading the team.
You got Murder Hornet over there. You good?
Volume shooter and inefficient.
We just need a leader over there.
Bad shots, volume shots,
They paid him too much. They paid him too much too soon, man. They need to start. These dudes need a first round playoffs before they get that $200 million or something.
No, they had that.
Charlotte
ain't had nothing like LaMelo. Charlotte had nothing like that.
He giving you 28
jersey sales and everything. He gonna recoup that money for the franchise.
We need our Draymond.
We went to the playoffs with Kemba.
I'd rather have Kemba back.
We went to the playoffs with Kemba, bro. We
playing twice with LaMelo. He got them Steph Curry ankles.
We need Steph Curry. Shit. I'll take 38-year-old Steph Curry over LaMelo.
Give me. I think if you got Mark Williams, Brandon Miller, and Melo healthy next year, we'll make the playoffs. I ain't worried about it.
I'm just saying when they pay the young players too much too soon, I feel like
the East has got a lot better too.
They don't be having no real drive. Like I think they need to switch it up before you get them max contracts. You gotta make a playoff first round or something. That got to be
I'm not mad at it.
Or the Supermax should be at least based on wins in the playoffs.
What you gonna do if no team give you a Supermax? They'll go overseas. Are you gonna play till you prove yourself?
But he didn't get his Supermax. He just got the rookie extension.
That nigga got too much.
I don't think he has any All NBAs.
Yeah, he just got the max rookie extension, which, like I said, he
still too much.
Nah. If you look at his first couple years. He deserved the money. Like he was projecting it. He was all-star. He was an all-star. Like if you're an all-star, your rookie contract, you deserve the extension.
They say a lot of the reason he stays hurt is because he doesn't put the time in with his ankles. He don't want to wear the braces, and a lot of the injury falls back on him. And if you've been paid $200 million, put them goddamn braces on, bro, and play.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But all right, let's not basketball out our crowd. Even though it looked like we got some healthy conversation inside the chat. But saying all that to say, Diddy, the trial has started. There's been some wild things that came out. I'll play some of 2 or 3 memes, and then we can kind of get into some conversations.
Okay, so y'all keep saying this, and I'm gonna explain how this is a RICO case because clearly y'all.
G sent this in.
I'm tired.
He sounded
That don't mean
zesty.
it's about-
Zesty soon he
RICO
started.
is racketeer influence corrupt organizations, right? Think of it as like organized.
Let me restart
crime.
this.
So the recipe that the government has to prove is okay. So y'all keep saying this, and I'm gonna explain how this is a RICO case because clearly y'all don't understand what RICO is, and I'm tired of y'all commenting that. So the quickest way I can break this down to y'all is RICO is racketeer influence corrupt organizations, right? Think of it as like organized crime. So the recipe that the government has to prove is one, enterprise. That's any crew, company, record label, shell, LLC, formal or informal, right? That works together. Second, a pattern of at least 2 racketeering acts, and they both have to be committed within 10 years of each other. If you pull up RICO's official list of racketeering acts, sex trafficking and transporting someone for prostitution are both on that list. The third is it has to be a connection between 1 and 2. The crimes must have been helped, financed, or directed by the enterprise. So now let me break down Diddy's case so y'all understand it a little better. The racketeering conspiracy is they say Diddy planned or agreed to run enterprises that committed crimes. They don't have to prove every act. They just have to prove that the agreement existed, right? Then there's 2 counts of sex trafficking. These are already 2 that's required for racketeering acts. Allegedly forcing or coercing somebody to travel for sex is a textbook predicate of RICO. Then there is 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. There's 2 more predicate acts right there. Moving someone across state or national lines so they can be sexually exploited is also on RICO's list. Now, why it's all falling under one RICO case is because the penalties are much larger when they're bundled together. And y'all keep saying, why are they talking about Cassie? So it's a storytelling advantage, right? It starts with victim number 1, who we all know is Cassie Ventura. It shows that the government can show the jury a pattern instead of 5 different related things. Also, they did a RICO case because of net casting, which means they can sweep in bodyguards, accountants, lawyers, other employees, anybody that helped keep that machine running, right? So basically, RICO means the feds think Diddy wasn't just messing up here or there, but he was running a whole operation.
All right. We can get maybe a minute of this right here, and then we'll go to Dr. Umar.
Of the Diddy trial. It's a lot. So Cassie Ventura was back on the stand, and prosecutors pick up where they left off yesterday, which was Cassie walking through the Intercontinental Hotel video. Worth noting that while this testimony was happening, the full 15-minute unedited hotel video was released. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I will play some clips to try to match up what she's describing. So in this first part, she notes Diddy entering with nothing in his hands. So when she says he now has her phone because he took all of her stuff. And this is when the security guard who testified on day 1 enters into the video. Cassie says after the security guard came up, she was able to get her stuff and caught an Uber. And at some point, Diddy begins texting her saying, quote, call me, yo, please call me. I got 6 kids, please call me. Yo, please call me, I'm surrounded. Call me for my kids, help. Cassie says she eventually responded, quote, put the robe on. And she says she sent that because he was running around in a towel and she was just looking out. Cassie then tells him that she spoke to security and Jules, the escort who was there, had left. And as long as he didn't disturb the guests, the hotel staff would leave him be. On that Uber ride home, Cassie says...
All right, she goes like a full play-by-play.
Yeah.
But Mr. Black Queens Forever. This is, I think, what he posted. Shout out to Dr. Umar. I'm not sure who this lawyer is, but...
who came to watch the case were walking out. I hate to say it, we were getting bored in there with Cassie's testimony. I think everybody thought it was going to be explosive. This is a RICO case. They're trying to show GthaKing, if you know what I mean. And I hate to say it, but the government is doing a terrible job at showing it. Now, they are showing, yes, domestic violence. They keep asking her, so at these freak-offs, who selected your outfits? Who did he? But they're not showing, okay, this escort was taken traveled here for this, and it's not showing multiple people involved. All you're seeing the government prove is that Diddy committed domestic violence, but that is a state case that is not need a federal trial. So I hate to say it, guys, we know we don't want this, but I think Diddy could get off on the RICO charges. I'm not though, but I hate to say it, the bottom line is people who came to watch the case were walking out.
All right, that's the repeat. All right, fellas.
No, I think I think that guy makes a good point because a lot of time when like we having these public cases, it's the court of public opinion gets gets brought into it like A Black said earlier, but he's just arguing just strictly like legal, like how well are you legally proving the charges against him, and a lot of time uh we miss the fact that like just bringing up Cassie and while it might be embarrassing to Diddy, it might be like damn that's tough. It's nasty to hear some of the the allegations, but kind of like I said all along, that doesn't necessarily prove the crimes against him.
But do you take credence to what the first guy was saying inside how they're roping together everything and using her testimony? And
it's the beginning of the trial, so like I imagine there's more to come.
Yeah, I think that even in from what I understand of her testimony, she kind of speaks of like an organized ring of things in which all implicates the RICO part, where there's the organizing of the sex workers, there's the security that withholds things from her when she's cooperating and gives things to her when she is. There's like it's like she kind of speaks through like a whole
staff.
Yes, staff.
Yeah, but I guess my thing is with this
and traveling to do this and booking different people.
Yeah, but I understand, but even from like day one, my thing is like the legal stuff is like that's one thing, but the stuff that we're hearing and like a lot of the details that they're going into it, I think they're just trying to embarrass them. And I think it's it's a public it's a public thing first, and I don't necessarily know how strong how many what the evidence we'll have to see, but right now it's just like a public shaming, and I haven't really seen too much evidence or heard anybody testimony that directly implicates him breaking laws at this point. They've alluded to it, I've heard stuff, but nobody's testified and said that this.
So like the part with Cassie, well I guess I'll let somebody.
Well, she's saying like, organized. We haven't actually heard from the people that have done it. I assume I haven't followed it all the way, but
we've heard from another person that testified before Cassie who admitted to like peeing on her and everything.
But did he admit to getting paid and traveling and all of that?
I believe he admitted to getting paid.
But okay, so the first lady said to prove RICO, you had to prove it was force slash coercion, which is like I don't like. Now with trafficking, it's one thing if you like are putting bitches in a van and like actually taking them across state lines and forcing them physically, but I'm not seeing how he's like forcing grown adults to get on a plane and to travel. And the one escort who said he's been doing this for 2 years to the point where he was enjoying it, taking less money at times, and it was only until he saw Diddy beat her up in front of him that he lost his enjoyment of it. But he had become comfortable. Like he was one of their.
Cassie might be the person that's being trafficked.
But Black, the thing is, while what you're saying is true, legally speaking, is where it becomes an issue. Because, like, for example, if we're all in a room and I shut the door and be like, nobody's leaving, I can get charged with kidnapping. It's just that simple. Like, the legal definitions for some of this stuff is not as extreme as, like, putting somebody in a van and so forth and so forth. What Cassie is proving is that she didn't want to participate in these acts. She felt like that she was in danger if she said no, and therefore she participated unwillingly in these acts, and then had to travel across state lines to participate in different things too. So it's establishing.
But isn't that a great line?
You saying proving?
It's a great line. Yeah. It's a great line for sure. I'm not.
I don't think that she's proving. I think she was a willing.
Because you saw her get dragged. You saw her trying to leave and physically getting dragged back on camera, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're saying like if it's a whole freak off.
Came out with the towels like, hold up.
I'm saying if it's like a whole freak off with multiple people and like groups of people, like one man can't stop everybody from leaving. Like
as far as it's not one man. That's the thing. There's bodyguards, it's security. It's an operation, which is what they're gonna try and lay out.
Are they gonna be getting implicated too, or are they
gonna say that they played that role? Like she could say that, but if they get up there and say no, they could have left. Like it depends on the testimony.
The escort already said that Cassie paid him herself, so she's exchanging cash too for these things. She's complicit in some of these things as well. But she's on this Sean made me do it type shit.
All under his orders.
Yeah, but how do you prove that this was an order and this is what you were willing to do? I think that's where they're going to have trouble to do. Like, because I feel like some instances she liked some things, and I feel like some she probably didn't. But to be with somebody for 10 years, like Puff Daddy is a international star. He travels. He's doing public events. There's plenty of times for her to escape. Like, she wasn't in no basement. Like, if she really wanted to get away. She could have got away, but even after the elevator incident, they got video of her cozied up with him on the yacht, smiling. It's all good. And I know the whole thing about victims and whatever that syndrome is when you are love with your abuser and all of that, Stockholm syndrome or whatever. I get that, but she had numerous instances. But Cassie loved that lifestyle. She loved that spotlight. She got plenty of red carpets where she's smiling, she's having a great time, and even after that elevator incident, smiling and having a great time with this guy. So,
but every nigga she allegedly tried to fuck is like life is like Cuddy car blown up. This nigga tried to get Drake allegedly.
We don't know.
Allegedly, we don't know.
Well, I guess the Cuddy car thing is interesting. Cuddy car did blow up, and then he also said that, but he's saying I didn't blow his car up. It's kind of a wild.
But also, we can't get caught up in like internet rumors and shit. Like people just saying,
blowing a nigga car up over the box is crazy.
Well, but that's just regular. I gonna say regular relationship stuff, but that's just in the course of like he fighting for his girl.
Oh my goodness, nigga!
I'm saying, back then said that Diddy did it, and it was like a Diddy rumor. But then inside the NDA, what came out part of that, like the whole thing was that she tells the same story 10 years later, 7 years later, or something like that. And there's evidence that his car did blow up. I don't know, it's just like an interesting, like.
Do y'all think he smacked Drake?
Yeah,
of course,
most definitely.
I actually think that.
I think Diddy smacked all of these niggas around.
He held Wale over that roof. I think he did.
Diddy is a demon, boy. This nigga's about that life.
Ryan Coogler got to direct this movie because this would be the best movie since the
I agree with that.
Diddy,
imagine Michael B. Jordan playing.
I ain't gonna lie. When I heard this nigga pulled up to UCLA and went off on the football coach in the office, I was like, oh, he different. Nah, he's very different. You don't just roll up to a program like UCLA and like do that inside one of those offices, bro. Like that just does not happen. So it's like when you're doing shit like that, that tells me maybe you forgot how normal life works, because you actually think you could just like throw kettlebells at a nigga in a practice facility. Like that's crazy.
Well, yeah. Diddy just got, he might have like some of the wildest internet rumors that,
and that wasn't a rumor.
I understand that. It's just that everything compiled over such a long period of time, and then you'll forget. Oh, it's like Diddy's that's brother love, buddy love, whatever he named himself, right? But when you keep thinking about like, why would Wale just have to make this lie up, or why would the the USC coaching staff just make this lie up? Or
so why Wale a nigga? Like why Wale let niggas do that to him? Like what? I just like damn. Did he like?
He might not want to be down in the freak off, and he had him. He had that staff.
And Diddy like some mafia boss out here, man.
And they say Diddy, what he does is get you on tape and then coerce you moving forward. So like once he invites you over, slip you over that glass of Ciroc, got you on video doing some compromising shit. Now you just on the roster on demand. Like nigga, show up 4 days, get ready.
Molly and shit, it be in the orange, it be in the mixer, not the actual drink.
He said they gotta work out for the freak offs. Like, bro, this is crazy stuff, bro.
All right, I just want to have
Cassie got a lot of bodies, man.
crazy.
Like,
That was one thing I did say is like imagine because her husband there.
Oh
And-
yeah, that's crazy.
And like
I
he
can't
got
do
to
that.
hear how she was having 4-day long freak offs
Getting pissed
with
on.
escorts pissing on her, niggas busting and then rubbing they semen on Diddy.
Rubbing baby gravy on niggas.
hey, 30 million to make you real forgiving, I guess. Though I don't know, but her kid got to see one day that mama was taking piss in the mouth.
Well, yeah, and them videos gonna leak eventually.
And I feel like him.
Oh,
him
yeah.
If all this was gonna happen, he should have never settled and did that 30 mil in the first place. Like he
Exactly. That was his
that
biggest
kinda-
mistake. He
that
should have
opened
called
the
her
door.
bluff. He
Yeah,
should have
that
called her
opened all
bluff.
this up.
But
How does that even work?
So the rumor is he had a book that she was gonna sell to him for 30 million. That like basically say these are all my secrets. This is everything. You can buy it for 30 million. And then the arrogance of that exchange. This could have happened under the table. Could have been like done, but he responded the way he responded. Then she responded how she responded, and then stuff started leaking. And now it turns into a federal case, which is the other thing that I don't want to overlook is like, this ain't a state. This ain't the state versus Young Thug. This is the feds.
This ain't Cassie versus whatchamacallit.
Yeah, this is the federal RICO case. These niggas have a high batting average. That's all I'm saying. So usually if the feds get to this point with a case like this, 9.5 times out of 10, it's buttoned up. It's not even a question of if, it's just you got to go through the motions. You're either going to be found guilty or take a plea.
Shit, now I'm thinking a nigga killed Pop for real. But so, do you think with especially with the Cuddy situation,
he might have did big.
I don't know, but with Cuddy, do you think it was like he jealous of Cassie being with another man, or the risk of her telling his secrets to somebody else?
Well, I think that they said that was during like some part of the early stage of they dating. So like they was on and off, and on one of the offs, she it's crazy. Yeah, I think the story is he found out about it during a freak off where he went through her phone and then got enraged and like the whole 9 yards of making threats and shit like that.
Freak off.
I want to know who turned out Diddy in the industry to have like, because it had to start somewhere.
For sure.
They said Andre Harrell.
Clive had to been him. Clive.
I can imagine that Andre Harrell.
Let me stop.
Harrell, yeah.
Allegedly.
Like,
they did say that.
Or they did. Like,
no, allegedly. They say allegedly.
What creates a freak like this?
Well, they say he grew up kind of fast too. Like his biography, like the way, like his mom and like the way he grew up, like he was always kind of I don't know the word, but like because like he had a success at a very young age. He's like if you just look at his business career, what he did was like remarkable, unheard of, unprecedented. The age, the genre of music, what he was able to do and push forward and so forth and so forth. He really was unprecedented, like and unparalleled in terms of black executives in the industry, hence why he went on to be this figure that he became. So I don't know what leads a nigga to this level of just deviancy. Like I have no clue. No clue.
It got to be a mix between, if I imagine, a mix between the prior trauma and power.
Yeah, they say his dad was a hustler. They say his dad was was it Nicky Barnes? Like worked for Nicky Barnes or some shit like that in Harlem.
Like some Harlem gangster, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that power, man. That power is addictive. And it's just crazy. I mean, freaky.
He could be suppressing his sexuality too, and he just
I don't think
didn't healthily cope with it.
I think the sexuality is just fluid. Like at this point, like I think with the men it was more of a power thing, but I just think when you get as much pussy as them type niggas and that much money, it just you got to do wild stuff like that to get off. I feel
but
like
it's weird though because the thing is that. According to it, he's not the person in power in any of these scenarios. Like, I guess according to what I was looking at before we watched this, before we kind of logged on, like he would just pay them to pop Cassie.
But he would direct everything like he producing the track. He would tell him how to play the drums, play the horns, do this like this. Now do this. So he was still in control, allegedly.
Okay. So he
everything was on his control.
He wanted a live action porn with his woman for days at a time. That's such an interesting. That's a different version of it.
Yeah, I think what they're doing right now is just trying to show him as like a disgusting figure. Because, like I say, as far as the criminality fact of it, none of that's been proven. But I think they're trying to establish a character deficiency and, you know, really show that, you know, he's some type of monster. So when they do try to start presenting the criminal things, it'll be easier for the jury to go against him.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
all strategic
part for sure. Yeah, I guess any closing thoughts on this before we kind of move on?
It's just getting started. Wait till them damn freak off tapes start leaking. And you start seeing people that you actually are going to be like, oh, shit. Oh, damn. Like, it's going to be crazy.
Jay-Z or somebody in these joints.
It's going to be crazy, man.
I mean, you've heard the stories about the people who've been in the Diddy party. So I just wonder how many, like, I'm just curious, are we going to hear, like, as the case moves forward, like, what kind of names and, you know, who else going to get implicated? And even some of the testimony, because the testimony graphic is fuck right now. So, like, it could get bad for some people. I know it's a lot of nervous people out there too.
Yep.
Nah, definitely. All right. So, nonetheless, we can kind of use this as a segue, I guess, to some more quote unquote serious conversation topics where Trump has been in the news. He's been in the news for a couple different things. One of them would be Trump is lifting his refugee ban. He's lifting his refugee ban, not for the Sudanese people going through genocide, not for the people in the Congo going through genocide, but for the white Africans. I forget what they call them. The Afrikaners.
Afrikaners. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Kamu. They getting them out.
So I'll play a couple parts of this, and then we can kind of start the conversation.
The day he was sworn in president, Trump signed an executive order, effectively stopping any refugees from being allowed to come and resettle in the United States. Now, there's an act passed by Congress called the Refugee Act, which allows for as many as 125,000 refugees in this fiscal year. People who can prove they're being persecuted or fear persecution because of race or religion or political beliefs. And nowhere near that number has been allowed in by the time Mr. Trump took office and shut it all down. But just a few weeks later, President Trump announced that he was making an exception. And not only that, he would expedite the processing of refugee claims by one group of people from Africa. Now, you might think it's some women and children who've been maybe sexually assaulted in the conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, a place that's seen fighting for decades. On this program, we reported on the violence, the plight of people there in a series of programs in 2006. Connors were allowed to enter the U.S.
Why are you creating an expedited path into the country?
He called them niggas Connors.
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they talk about it. That would be the only story they talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here.
This
The
nigga
idea
made
that
sure to
there's
let
a
us know they was
genocide of
white
farmers
multiple
going on in
times.
South Africa is just
They
not
happen to be
true.
white.
It's absurd, and that's been debunked by a number of organizations, both inside and outside of South Africa. But it's become a rallying cry for the right wing.
All right, so nonetheless, Trump, he has delivered a pass. He's delivered a pass for I don't know what some on the right wing would call the good guys, the descendants of the apartheid. What is y'all thoughts on Trump lifting the ban
It's
on
crazy.
refugees for this specific group, not like the slaughtering of
I just think it's
all the people in the Congo, the Sudanese, like the people that have true refugee claims, but for the white farmers who haven't had any of their land actually taken yet. Yeah, thoughts.
I just think it's so crazy how comfortable we are with hypocrisy in our government. Like I think it's just like it's just. I mean, you could sit and talk. I mean, we all know what's happening here. This is very easy, to see the difference in who's getting kicked out, who's getting let in. I mean, I don't think it's, any, it's no secret with what's going on here. But just to be so like upfront, he said we basically extended citizenship to these motherfuckers, and it's like it wasn't that the whole basis he was running on was immigration and kicking people out who aren't citizens and deporting people. And I just saw somebody in East Charlotte, a parent dropped their kid off at school and just got picked up by ICE for not being a citizen. And then you bringing in these people and just letting them basically making them citizens. It's just so crazy how like we're comfortable with, or how comfortable, people have gotten with being, hypocrites in the government. Yeah, man, I would respect him a lot more if he just like keep it real, because it's just like kind of blatant BS right here. It's
I thought that's why people like Trump, for keeping it real, though.
I think
the pro-Trumpers.
I think it depends on what he keeping it real on, but I feel like when this situation it's obvious what it's about. And if you read international news, South African news, I know the FBA people will love this, but they only 7% of the population out there. They own 70% of the land. Like they're not losing nothing. They're richer.
20 times the assets of the average non-white South African.
They're richer. And then from South African news, the 49 refugees who just came here, they calling them cowards, losers. They're not even really landowners out there, but they wasn't at no risk. They just kind of was already some losers out there, and took this opportunity and stuff. Like nobody, the white South Africans who own land out there, they holding to that shit. They're like, we're not trying to come to America. Like read that South African news. Like they like, we're not coming out there. We own this land. We're not coming to America. And I don't know. I think they're resettling them.
We can't.
I think they reselling them in Alabama or something like that. But when to say some shit like, I don't care if they white or black, like nigga, you do. Like you just said, the Haitians was eating cats and dogs. Like you're not doing that for the Congo, for the Sudanese, for in Gaza. You trying to resettle all of Gaza and like put fucking beach strips, like
Riviera.
I don't see ICE picking up no European immigrants, no white immigrants. Like it's Mexicans, it's Latinos, it's Africans, it's Caribbean people, it's all people of color. And I'm just like, bro, just stand on the racism at this point, but don't like lie in our face with the stupidity. Like niggas is dumb. Like South Africans are not getting genocide. It's real genocides going on that you don't care about. Like them niggas is trying to just get their land back that them people stole years ago. And they haven't even done it yet. Like it's crazy.
But hey Black, but weren't you pro his immigration policy originally? Like when he got elected, or were you not pro? Like I know you were pro Trump. I do remember that.
I was never pro Trump. I was never pro Trump. I'm always anti-government. My only thing about Trump that might seem pro was like
I thought you voted for him.
No, when I ever say that?
You didn't vote for Trump?
I literally went in the booth with my Ray-Ban glasses showing that I voted for Kamala. Like, nah, I ain't vote for him. I'm just anti-government. I was anti-Kamala. I was
Oh, I didn't know you voted
anti-Trump.
for Kamala.
I don't remember this at all.
I thought you voted for
I
Cornel
could have
West.
sworn Trey voted Cornel West, and A Black was very pro-Trump at the
Nah,
time. I remember this.
I got video
So
of
I
him.
We gonna have to pull the
definitely
tape.
thought that you went to Trump route.
We gonna have to pull the
I
tape.
know
I got
be
video.
Black
I
was
can put in the chat.
pro-Trump.
A Black be trolling. I'm learning.
A Black was pro-Trump.
I got video. I
But
told
okay.
y'all. Even
Oh, no,
when we
I
asked-
believe like if you say you got video of it.
when we had the show and asked about it, I told you like only reason I'm voting for Kamala because I'm gonna sell more T-shirts. Now it might have been not for a good reason, but that was my whole thing. You know, like I couldn't bring myself to look back and be like, I voted for any old white man because that's my thing. I'm not voting for no old white man like ever.
But you were happy he won, right?
I wasn't happy he won more so than I was happy that a lot of Democrats lost, if that makes sense. Like I don't like Democrats, but I don't like no government because I don't think any of them are for us. And I felt like, all right, if somebody come in and burn it all down, and then cool, you know. But I mean, you can't predict how it's gonna go, no way. So nah, I didn't vote for him, but I wouldn't say I was that supportive of Kamala either. Like I'm just general all around anti-US government because I think they both are evil on both sides. They show it on both sides. But yeah, his international policy right now and the hypocrisy of it, and even kind of, you know, I'm mad at Saudi Arabia sitting down with him and all of that shit. But yeah, I troll because I don't believe the government will do nothing for our interests for real until we have some type of real leverage. So we've already had Obama, who said he won't do nothing specifically for us, but he did something specifically for Native Americans and Asians and different groups. We
When you
already
say
had
Native Americans, what do you mean by that?
Whatever Native American act he signed. Yeah, you know, the Indians and niggas that's in Oklahoma on reservations and shit like that.
I didn't know if you were talking about
wiped out. Kamala said she wasn't doing nothing specifically for black people. So and I don't expect Trump to. I don't expect any of this government to until we collectively come together, have some real leverage, and do what every other group does and lobby and wield our power economically and politically. You know, we can't just have figureheads and puppets and shit. You know, like that's kind of what we have. And then those people get in the power and they turn on us. You know, they turn on us to keep their position, to keep their money, to pay off the debts that they owe people that funded their campaign. But this government that enslaved us, that oppressed us, that segregated us, that did all this shit is not gonna wake up one day and was like, you know what? Let's do something that will really lift y'all up. They go keep us at the bare minimum, and that's whether it's Democrat or Republican. So, you know, I don't know who would have been better for the country. Whether what Kamala did anything better, I don't know. I can't say it at this point, but you know, if he burned it all down, and that's cool with me too. But it's just wild, the hypocrisy. But the hypocrisy is on both sides. I think I feel like he's almost on some Biden shit with kind of cognitively devolving in front of us too. You know, I feel like he's been sharper in the past, but I've been watching him a lot recently, and he just kind of been on some, I don't know, I don't care. It's what happened, you know, just like way more flippant than before. And I feel like he's kind of devolving right in front of us with his age as well. But yeah, man, neither one of them for us as a people ain't gonna help us for real.
Johnny, did you answer the South Africa part?
Yeah, I just about the hypocrisy. I also think that it's crazy to you know, to think that like white people are like gonna ever give up land in Africa. Like when has that happened in the last like 300 years without them like then they ain't running from a fight. Like they totally they A-okay, they're prepared. They, you know, even if like white people in Africa or South Africa are losing a little bit of land, it's not like it's not plenty of other white people that got most of the land there anyway. And it's not, it might be happening to a very small percentage of them, but it's not like a widespread thing, or white people aren't, you know. I think there are cases and black people are trying to take back their power in Africa, but that's far from, a genocide or people being oppressed. I think it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, for sure. Kamu, call in. Let us know what's happening on the ground out in South Africa. G, talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I got too much to add. I think, like we said, to be running a campaign so heavy on deportation and immigration to then like open up the doors to these quote unquote refugees who seem to be, more privileged refugees, if we're just being honest, right? And, even though this doesn't matter, they're white, but that doesn't matter, but they're white. It's just like, how many times you gonna keep like whistleblowing to the audience, like, hey, look, don't worry, these aren't those South Africans, these are the white kinds. So I just think that's interesting that he like is signaling that, but
I think he got to though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he has to, right? I mean, just the ties with Elon and everything too. It's it's just very
to his base. He has to signal to his base that I'm not letting in I'm letting in white Africans.
Not the soy people.
But
I do think this is an opportunity for the Democrats to start kind of regaining some footing, because I was really feeling like they was done, and even up to the next election. But with him kind of showing his hypocrisy with his own policies, I think them white Americans, they don't care about that whole they white across the land. Like, they care about their whiteness here as Americans. And I feel like
American first.
Yeah, his immigration or letting them come, a lot of them against that too. Like, they don't care that they white. Like they don't want none of them people coming in here, because that still fucks with them too. So the Democrats really need to start kind of using that and building their cachet back up, because now he's kind of being hypocritical against his own policies and stuff, and like they need to kind of check in on this for real and use it to their benefit, because they might have a chance to come back up if he's starting to go against his own words and stuff.
Gotcha. Nonetheless, I think that everything, even the Trump bribery thing is that Saudi Arabia with the airplane, the $1 billion airplane?
No, Qatar.
Qatar.
But he's doing his rounds like with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE. He's doing his rounds.
Yeah, they giving gifts. It's like they fielding what they call pledging fealty and shit, and it's very weird. I don't know if they playing chess in the long game or what. Especially with Saudi Arabia, I understand. They are promoting the investment, $600 billion into AI, but a lot of that is also going to defense as well.
So what I heard about that was like in the global scheme of things, when you look at the race for AI, it's like the US is number one, China's number two, but surprisingly number three is UAE. And from what I understand, they might be number three, but as it relates to what they do, they're leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. So they're not as like widespread with their advancements, but what they are good at, they're arguably the best at. And like this global positioning is really what it's about. It's like as the US would rather benefit from those resources than have China benefit from those resources. So they would rather have those countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar leaning into US economic markets rather than leaning their money into China, which will then, give them the things that they're looking for. So strategically, he's kissing babies, making deals, you know what I'm saying? Like, and ultimately gathering, like, it's interesting with the tariffs and stuff too, because like the way China was acting at first, and then they kind of pulled some stuff back, markets started going crazy again. Inflation is as low as it's been in 4 years, which is interesting. So I think there are some things that haven't quite settled yet that I think we got to kind of wait to the end of the year to really see how the economics are shaping up going into the next year.
Real quick, answer this. You an econ major. How is inflation? It was just at like a record high, and then now it's at a low for the past 4 years. Within like, I don't know, it's maybe a week or two. what is that measured by? Because typically when you think inflation, it's the idea of like eggs are high, groceries are high, gas is high. You know what I mean? The insurance rates are high in your housing, your interest rates are high on your credit cards, XYZ. What is that statement measured by?
All it's doing is looking at a basket of goods and what it costs. What month is this? What it costs in May last year versus what it costs in May this year. And so they're just looking at a basket of goods. The basket of goods could be, it's not that anything went down. It's more so that the rate is just above 2%. The Federal Reserve aims for 2% inflation. So it's not necessarily saying that things went down, but like, think about it. If you have a huge spike of inflation where things go up like 8% and then they plateau, inflation is gonna, and then the next year it only goes up another 1%. It's gonna look like so even though it went up 8% in 1 year, then it's plateaued.
Oh, okay, all right. So
then the next year there was only a 2 point something from there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the rate of inflation isn't measured by. It's not like
it's based year to year.
Base thing is how much it's rising that current year.
But year to year, exactly. It's only relative to the point year before. So once you had that spike, it almost sets a new standard. So now it's like I'm used to paying $6 eggs, even though I was paying $4 eggs.
Yeah, so
and then this year I'm only paying $6.25 eggs. So it's like, oh, inflation only went to a quarter instead of $2. You know what I'm saying?
Because the rate of increase has slowed down, not the fact that shit get cheaper.
Exactly.
Right, I'm glad you explained that for me.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Shit is not going to get cheaper, and the value of your dollar did not increase.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately,
inflation just slowed. That's the only thing.
I was about to say, damn, is that why ETA's running up right now? I ain't mad at it. Get us to 3,000 so I can sell. That's all.
I ain't really seen no crazy increases. And, you know, I get a lot of clothes manufactured from my China manufacturers for my clothing store. No tariff changes has went in effect. I heard that they be seeing the messages out like, y'all, we good, like, you know, keep buying. So I don't know. I haven't really seen much go into effect seriously. I think gas is down. So in that regard, you know, like G said, we got to kind of see, I guess, let the dust settle and see if all his moves pan out, because it's still kind of early to tell. But I didn't see no crazy increase.
Yeah, to me, I look at it as a double-edged sword either way. Like, Trump fucks shit up that to me it's all par for the course. He gets shit right. I think that there is, you know what I mean, there's benefit in that. But yeah, I think the way he's doing shit, it gives the Democrats no choice but to actually, quote unquote, wield the power and not make excuses next time, or it's going to be an even bigger exodus from the party, because he's showing you what you can do consistently, or even not even what you can do as much as what you can at least try to do.
We can try. A lot of orders are not going through.
Yeah, but a lot gets blocked. But
the public
ain't trying. Ain't nobody been like Trump ain't tried.
Yeah. Nigga ain't Jared Vanderbilt. You gotta shoot.
Right. All right, cool. Yeah, I guess any closing thoughts on Trump before we move the conversation on? The South Africans they're invading. I think that Unc said he wanted us to talk about. Let me see if I still got it pulled up.
Tiger Woods clapping his daughter. So I don't know.
What?
Hey, who?
Tiger Woods. He got one of the Trump daughters.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about incest.
Yeah, I was
like, shout out. Unc said he wants us to talk about Trump letting the genocidal, homicidal creatures of descendants that destroyed, killed, mangled, and tortured the South Africans being let into our country. Some of them are old enough to be the ones who did it. Thoughts inside that regard?
CNN called them niggas the Connors. Like, Didn't even give him the Afri. They just took that shit away from him, stripped him of it. Said y'all just Connors now. That's crazy.
Oh,
It is
that's
like
where
an interesting
Connors
group
came
to
from.
let in, like a very
Afrikaners.
specific group.
They just took the Afro. Just
They
called,
took the Afri. They took the Afri away from them. That's
I was talking about John.
They definitely conned them
They
up.
Connors.
I feel like they
Yeah.
go get a rude. They go get a rude awakening in America and be trying to go back real soon. You know, they go realize that it ain't all peaches here.
You make them niggas sound like a 10-year. You gotta stay. Can't go back.
But yeah, like I said, they didn't send their best out here. Those people was already losers out there anyway. So it's just like.
So those 59 people that came over here, they weren't like doing well over there.
Nah. South African news said them wasn't no owners. Them wasn't nobody who was like really making no moves out there. They was on some bottom class shit already. So you know they easily kind of be some guinea pigs to come over here. The real owners out there are not trying to come here. They've made that clear. They got them white people out there gathered up marching and shit. Like we ain't going nowhere. They got an all white town in South Africa where black is not even allowed. Like so they're not giving that up. South Africa is one of the most. I don't know if y'all seen the landscaping. It is beautiful out there. Like and you see when you see it, you like you see why the white people want that shit and them Asians want that shit. It's nothing like what it looks like in the world in South Africa, but the majority of them are not trying to come out here. Trust me. Like,
okay, so those are brother poor whites.
Yeah, them the poor whites of South Africa that came over here. Ain't nobody that own no land came over here, and they definitely ain't getting killed out there.
Well, they gotta suck to be poor white and in Africa. Like that might be rough. Because I mean, you don't have none of
everything's comparative. Because
it's poor. It's poor.
Like
poor everybody everywhere. We got poor whites here. You know.
I think you much rather be poor white here. I think so.
I don't feel sorry for him. But I'm just saying, if you're poor and white,
I don't know. At least we got the beach out there. Shit. Got the beach and mountains and all type of shit out there.
What you could be Cali white. I mean, yeah, you can be Cali poor white.
Or Portland white.
Hey, you go to the Gulf. You got the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America white. All right, so nonetheless, we're going to start our slow segue into the main conversation. Again, we're talking black fatigue. This is a bit of the conversation or part of a conversation that did help start this. A lot of it does piggyback off of the Shiloh Anthony, but I feel like this conversation right here, this lady, it speaks to a rising sentiment. And before we get to the black fatigue, I love for y'all to kind of, just say what you think about this.
Here's the thing. White people have been under attack for years. It's been systematic racism. As much as black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges. White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on
hang on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear, this has got nothing to do with anything you've just said. This is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the M-word, first at a young child and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. So I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything that you've just said. She's just a racist. Isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
it is about her
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in the country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would.
Mm-hmm. I do quite frequently.
All right, fellas.
Just like quite frequently.
I'll let y'all react. Again, there has been a growing sentiment and conversation and feel of a group
quite frequently
on the right that kind of Phil speaks and kind of galvanizes inside this way. What are y'all thoughts on just that?
She seemed like the type of white lady who be watching BBC porn at home, like, you know. But I would love to see video of her saying this N-word that she so casually says all the time in front of black people, in front of black women, and really stand on that shit. Like, do they say it behind closed doors? All type of white people when the songs is on, when they by themselves, when they mad, when they drop something on their foot. I guarantee it. But that don't matter if you say it. The matter is if he should ask, do you say it in front of black people? And then I want to see.
She was about to say it in front of Mark Lamont, remember?
Nah, she even then. I mean, Mark started crying and shit, but I'm like, even then,
he should have stayed quiet. He should have let
her
her
gave her a chance to stand on it. Like, I don't know why he did that, but I want to see her say it in front of black people, because I have no doubt that many white people say it when they're by themselves. Like, you know, why wouldn't you? I know if I was white, I'd say that shit all the time by myself. But the thing is, do you say it in front of niggas? Do you say it in front of black women? Are you going down Wilkinson Road in Chicago South Side in front of black people and saying this word? I guarantee she's not, you know. But I don't got no problem with them one. They already got white unity. Like, what? How much unity y'all need? Y'all run the world. Y'all own everything. Like, y'all got all the weapons. Like, I don't know how much unity they need, but you know, like he said, she couldn't focus on the point of that one way saying the N-word. She just wants to stand on being able to say it, which is cool.
And I guess from what I'm looking up right now, and I guess that's what she's infamous for.
Yeah, and that's cool, you know. But do you say it in front of us? I want to see you say it in front of a black woman, no security, you know, no police
in a room.
around you.
Say it when you could get touched. Say it
Get
like
touched,
in
and then I want to see you say it
Say it.
again after you get touched. I want to say you say it again.
Has a white person ever called one of y'all a nigger?
Yes.
Nah. They've used it as for like rap lyrics and stuff.
Now I'm talking about like a white man or a white person looked at you and said it, like literally referred to you as a nigger.
Yes.
Where were you, A-Black?
My first time was a kid here in Charlotte, and it was another kid, a white kid, and I don't even know if I should probably say it online, but we definitely made him remember not to say it again and beat him pretty bad. But I'll leave it at that tonight and proclaim myself. But I don't think he would say it again no more. The second time I was grown, I was in DC. I was on a date with a mixed girl at the time. And this was a white Italian man who was drunk in a restaurant. And when we came in, he was already being racist against the Mexican server, calling her names, calling her a beaner, telling her to go back to Mexico. She can't speak English. And he turned around and saw me and the girl who was, you know, real pretty, mixed girl. And he looked at us both and was like, what you doing with this nigga? And
like that.
I was just so caught off guard. I literally just started laughing. Like, I wasn't even angry, but at that point, I hadn't been called it since I was a kid. So I've been seeing all these instances online and people getting called it. So I was like, I was that person like, damn, when it happens to me, I'm gonna pop off. I can't wait till somebody call me a nigga, blah, blah, blah. And then when it happened, like, I laughed and I realized, like, I'm not offended by that. Like, the fact that you think that's going to offend me, it was kind of laughable, I guess, at that point, when you experience it. And he was also with his son at the time, who was like very apologetic and face turning red, and you know, really.
Damn. How old was his son?
His son might have been like in his mid-20s or something. And
so this was like an old man. He was getting his shit off.
Probably a mob Italian
like,
nigga.
He was like mid-50s, 60s type shit, and his son was like his son was so apologetic that I couldn't even get mad. He kind of like was, you know, cussing his dad out and getting him out of the restaurant type shit. But I wasn't offended as I thought. And then the third time was in Egypt by some kids. But I think they were saying it. they were saying it more so in a like rap hip hop type of way. They was like, "What's up, my nigga?" type shit like that, and I can tell they didn't really mean it offensively, but I did tell them like, "Yo, you can't be saying that like that type shit," and they ain't really understand. They speak Arabic or whatever, but I could tell they didn't really mean it with malice. They thought it was a cool, because our culture translate like so. They was thinking like, "Oh, what's up, my nigga?" type shit, and I was like, "Oh."
And as black people, we do have to take some accountability as much as we say it, to where like if you're a person from another country and all you see about black people is rap lyrics, or you see something and you hear that how we refer to each other when you first interact, it's not a malicious thing if you come up and say, "What up, my nigga?" and that's all you've ever seen of black people. I think we even played the joke on the To Be Fair show. It was a French guy, and when they translate the N word in French, they just say friend. So when he came over here, he was so confused as to, the usage of it, and it was a great joke. But that's something that we put out there in the world, and we call each other that, and then we love when people take our culture. But then when it's get misunderstood, we have to be understanding, and that's a great opportunity to teach people. It's a great opportunity to let them know what the history of it is. But you can't. Your first reaction can't be take offense when that's our culture that we put out there too.
I think from an international perspective, I can agree, just because in living internationally in Europe, like what I know race to be is even tough for them to comprehend when it's like getting to the weeds of like white versus black, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, I mean, I remember talking to a black Jamaican English girl who was like, "I'm just English, mate. I'm just English." And I was like, "Nah, but you Jamaican, right? Like you black. It's just English, mate." Like adamant about that shit. And she's not alone in that thinking amongst a lot of black English people and some folks in other cultures outside of England too. So over there, I can agree. Like if somebody says that word over there, most times it's not offensive. That said, like white supremacy exists over there too, and Nazis exist over there too, and they will definitely intentionally. They will intentionally like make monkey noises at your ass, call you a baboon, throw you bananas, nigger. They know the slurs to be disrespectful, and some will use it intentionally. So I will agree that most times it's gonna be, but I wouldn't just blanket it, because there are still a lot of like blatant racists over in Europe who know what those words like have some historical meaning, and they'll use it.
I think Europe is a lot different than Africa inside how they, like, even if you kind of look at A Black's example where he said that, did you say Egypt?
Yeah, that was Egypt, and like even like so in other African places, like most of the time they don't say nigga. That ain't in most of their language unless they very hip hopped out. But I've been in situations where, like I said, they don't even say it with malice, but they got the accent and they don't say it the same way we do it. Roll off the tongue. So I'm like, I don't know, you need to be saying nigga, because you kind of it sound weird coming from you, But I did forget two other experiences where I wasn't called nigga directly, but white people were saying it around me. One was at a mostly all white party I went to at Davidson College, and I think it was like it was like a wrestling team, and they was all saying it to a song, and they was kind of had that energy looking. They were looking too like, "What you gonna do about it, nigga?" And we was outnumbered, and they were drunk and shit. So I was like, I ain't about to fight no drunk white boys. And another time I was at a Juicy J concert, where the majority
Juicy
of the
be encouraging the whites to say nigga.
Yeah,
he literally be on stage encouraging them to say it. Like, y'all sing along with me, white people. Y'all can say nigga. Like, I've seen him say that on stage.
Before I did see the video of him encouraging them, but this is kind of before that, and like they were kind of saying it in the crowd. And once again, it was that outnumbered thing where if they have numbers, they feel more comfortable saying it. It's like what you go do type shit. So you pick your battles. But yeah, for them, I haven't been offended. I think I get more offended sometimes. I don't think I get offended at all, for real.
No, I always say this. I ain't the police on that word, and like especially like it's in like other countries. like you were saying, like the N-word is something that like it's only a very specific type of white person that's gonna piss me off. And it's because it's a Southern, it's a Jim Crow era. It's something that's very homegrown. Even like I've had conversations with like white people from Connecticut and out west, and a lot of like racist.
You get them the nigga pass?
No, we're not talking about the past, but we're having a race. I was talking about something, and they don't even understand racism. A lot of the even tropes, like a lot of white people aren't even like as racist.
Come on, American whites though.
Yeah, I'm talking about American whites. A lot of people, a lot of that racism isn't necessarily in all white.
They didn't grow up around black people. Like if they didn't grow up around black people,
so they don't understand it as much. They really a lot of the people.
And if they grew up around blacks, they was Caribbeans.
Yeah.
Or a lot of Hispanic, but a lot of out west, that racism stuff isn't necessarily as ingrained in those people as much as it is in the South, especially when it comes to like the word. I'm not saying there's no discrimination, but as far as like the N word and a lot of the racist tropes that we know living here in the South.
Are you talking about like overt racism compared to like subtle racism?
Yeah, or like I was having a conversation about because somebody said something about some watermelon at the job, and I was like, "Whoa, that's kind of racist, bro." And he was like, "What you mean?" And then I was like, "Well, black people can't say."
Nah, he knew that.
He had no
in the game, bro.
He's from California. He's not like he's not a racist guy. He just didn't know. So that's what I'm saying. Not all white
everybody
people
knows
are
that
just
watermelon
racist.
and fried chicken is associated as a trope.
But if you're not racist and you're not around racist people growing up, you wouldn't know that trope. I don't think everybody knows that trope. I think there are certain people that when they say it, it's very direct, it's very disrespectful. But I don't go around putting it on all white people.
Yeah, I'll let y'all respond to that. I know I'm not.
Now, if you're in America, you get no mercy. I expect to be respected. Period.
I just don't see how you would miss.
And I think some of them might know the tropes, but they might not all know if it's negative or positive. They might think you like it, like they throw a party for black people. Like, all right, and I've experienced this. So like, we know like our white side.
Watermelon wrapped in chicken skin, charcuterie.
Like we know like
sweet and salty, baby, sweet and salty.
Yeah, we traced our ancestry back to like even the slave masters, so we know our white side here in Charlotte, and they have like a yearly family reunion that they started inviting us to. In the first 2 years, was like this healing shit, and them apologizing and this, that, and the third. But that first time, they had fried chicken from everywhere. Home cooked, Bojangles, Popeyes, churches, fried chicken laid out, watermelon, and they was killing the shit. They was killing the shit more than us.
Nah, that's a fried chicken.
They had grape juice or grape drink. They had grape drink to drink. What they serve up? What they serve up to wash it down with? Like?
I don't remember the drink. I don't think they went that far. But the shit was good though. The shit was good.
Kool-Aid, man.
They had the 40s on ice.
The shit was good. I was going in. I was like, fuck it, baby. Free food. I don't care. It's free food, baby.
But yo, I'll say one thing about out west. I know my boy posted about the sundown towns. I say Oregon, they didn't even let black people in legally to the state. Once slavery ended, they made a law that said y'all niggas can't come here. So racism definitely, like when it comes to blacks in this America, like it's pretty well, like that's the one thing I think everybody do agree on. Yeah, fuck those niggas, man. Like whether it be the whites, Europeans, the natives, the Hispanics, whatever you want to call it, everybody agrees to try and keep us at the lowest of all the classes.
Go ahead and ask, Johnny.
I was gonna say, so you think like all white people grew up racist? You don't think you think they all know the tropes and they all are? You think there's some that
I don't think they know every trope. No, I'm not gonna say they know every trope, right? And I don't think that all white people are quote unquote inherently like deplorable racists. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's probably some good ones out there, but I don't necessarily know them like that.
I think some grow up racist, and I think some grow up like really indifferent and insulated. Like we underestimate how our history and our experience is not taught to a lot of them because it doesn't have to be taught to them. And a lot of them can kind of go through life, not knowing shit unless they are ingrained in pop culture and they watch certain movies and stuff. but a lot of them can really be insulated, you know, the majority of their life growing up, and then they kind of grow up and you meet them white people, they be asking them weird questions like and shit, and you can kind of tell with some of them is playing dumb, and some people like genuinely don't know shit, and they like, oh,
Never
you
seen
know,
it. Yeah.
experience this and this, that, and the third, and I'm like, damn, like you don't know this shit, and you don't know, like, but you know, why would they have to know? Because their experience or our history is not mandatory for them. Like we have to know our history and their history. You know, they don't have to know what niggas went through for real. And we see them trying to wipe that out now in their school system with critical race theory to the point where they won't know nothing that we experience at all.
Well, I think that they eventually wanted to say that they gave us skills that we was able to use and build communities with later. But saying all that to say, this kind of branches directly into the black fatigue conversation. I'm gonna play this. This is probably the meme that has sparked a lot of the conversation. There'll be her talking, Anton's going to talk for a second, and then she'll talk again. I'd like to get y'all reaction to this.
The woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest. The kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this, because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. But for the love of God, please leave the children out of it. Adults are stupid. They're going to do stupid things. But you're a different level of stupid when you bring kids into it. Thanks for coming to my TED.
So basically what this woman is saying is that two things can be true at the same time. And I said this the other day when this whole situation first broke out. And then we had the panel on Monday night where I basically said that white people are starting to get fed up. And that is the whole premise behind Black fatigue, is that nobody wants you to continue to play victim for the rest of your life. They tired of being held accountable for things that their ancestors did. They tired of you blaming all of your failures and the things that you weren't able to accomplish on white people. They're tired of you sitting there saying that you're a victim every single day, regardless of what your circumstance is, regardless of what you've been given, regardless of all of the affirmative action, regardless of the fact that you're saying that you're the most educated, but really you're the most enrolled. They tired of you blaming your debt on the system. They tired of you saying that white men are the problem. They tired of you asking for programs, and they're tired of being held accountable for the decisions that you're making every single day.
She'll be watching her back for the rest of her life. Yeah, because that's not thuggery, hydrattery, animalistic. This is why people have Black fatigue. When you act like this, it's not normal behavior. People do stupid stuff. People say stupid stuff. That's life. It's not normal to threaten to unalive people because you don't like what they're doing. But here we are. People are getting sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired. We're tired of it. But then whining and complaining and acting like it's not your fault that you act that way. Yeah.
And so,
all right,
brawls on cruise ships is hilarious. Like, how often do you see that shit?
That was a ferry.
She's talking about the Carnival cruise ships.
Carnival.
But,
she wasn't talking about Birmingham down there.
I think come out with the Carnival chips. But yeah, nonetheless, love for y'all to react to that, and then I'll play a couple more videos.
I got a question. So the incident she's talking about, it was a little black kid that went in the bag.
All right, so yeah, this is pretty much the same thing that Piers Morgan interview was about. It's the Shiloh Hendricks lady, in which she was on tape calling a 5-year-old Black autistic kid the hard ER. And she was saying it to him, then the person confronted her, and then she called him the hard ER multiple times as well. So with that, the video went viral, and she ended up having a really big support. Maybe I don't know if she lost her job or not, but she ended up having like a give, send, go that raised close to $1 million. I think it's close to like 800,000 now, in support of her. You know what I mean? Just saying the N-word to the 5-year-old autistic kid.
I've heard so she was saying that like the kid was acting ghetto behavior.
No. Well, so it sounded like she gave the onset of like 5-year-old kids are unruly. We all understand that. So whether you know what I mean, as white kid, black kid, I've taught a bunch of 5-year-olds. They act like drunk people. They'll take your stuff. They'll do all these things. Why this is picking up steam and it is galvanizing a certain group is because of they're tired of black people in general. They have black fatigue, whether it's I don't know, like the whole Black Lives Matter movement or the complaining. I think Anton went down the victim tropes of things. She went down like different stereotypes of being loud and ratchet, bonnet wearing, XYZ. Like they're tired of this, so everybody's galvanizing to this one thing that might seem unruly because of, generally speaking, they're tired of the quote unquote degenerateness of degenerateness of black culture. Hopefully that was a good enough explanation.
Oh, okay. So she was saying everybody. She was saying she could basically call all of us ghetto then, and not just
like she just fatigued with black with having any version of black empathy.
She's saying they tired of black people complaining or having issues. My thing is, when haven't they been tired of black people? They was tired doing slavery. They was tired doing segregation. Tired doing Jim Crow. Like black fatigue, if that's even a thing, they've been tired of us. Like so. I mean, the only thing that's different now is social media, so it's more magnified, our voices, our complaints, but you realize they don't never be tired of none of the shit that they do. They're not tired of these white boys shooting up schools or this white government bombing other countries. Like it's just black people in it, and basically what they're saying is they want niggas to shut up. They want you to stop complaining, accept your role in society, accept where you are. And it's like, oh, if you don't want to be called racial slurs, then don't call us racial slurs. But like your racism and prejudice is not the same. Like y'all racism is having real effect on people, and it has for hundreds of years. So I just want white women to shut the fuck up. Like,
And my thing is, what racial slurs do we call them? That like
I guess crackers. I guess
they don't care about none of that. Like we have a discussion about using that and how disrespectful. I've straight up asked the white person, are there any slur that I could call you that refers you and your whiteness that you get offended by? And they don't. And there's nothing that they're gonna say. So to sit up here and be like, well, we get called slurs and don't use slurs if you don't want to use it against us, it's like I think that's another hypocritical point, because there's nothing that I can call you that you're truly deeply offended about. You might fake and act like you offended, but there's nothing I can call a white person that refers to their whiteness that they don't care, that they care about. Black people, we all got a word and they know it. It's out there in the open.
White women got one. This is gonna sound like a joke, but this isn't a reference to it. But I forget what is the white word for pussy?
But that's not a racial slur though. They just don't like that word.
They the only one. Cunt.
You can't call them.
They get really, really offended on that. But until I was around some white women,
black people not going around calling them cunts. Like they call themselves that more.
Yeah,
like,
anybody.
All I know is that when I seen one like somebody throw a cunt out loosely, and just seeing how they reacted, and I was like, oh damn, this is like a big thing. And I had a conversation with them, and for them, they put that higher than bitch. They put it higher than like any other word of disrespect, which I just thought it was interesting.
It's not about the word; it's about the audacity to offend them in general. They don't want you saying anything negative towards them. They don't think you have the right to say anything negative towards them. And if you do, they feel that grants them the right to say all the stuff they want to say anyway, or they probably say closeted anyway. But all she's basically saying is like, the whole cultural shut up and dribble type shit. Like, you know, y'all go keep complaining. We tired of hearing y'all complaining black fatigue. Like, but when you say stuff like black fatigue, it dismisses the whole experience of why people are complaining. Do we got our issues in our community, in our ghetto, and our ghetto shit? Yeah, but y'all apps that these white men create promote this shit through their algorithm. Like, if y'all don't want to see that, take it up with Altman and Zuckerberg and these people who constantly promote the negativity in their algorithms. Like, they have the power to stop the word nigga being used, and they have the power to block any type of fight videos that come up, you know, but they don't do that. Like, they perpetuate and promote this stuff. Like, so it can't be seen without them. But nah, we're the problem.
And a lot of the music that they hate, they're the ones that sell it and consume it at the most. A lot of the issues.
Well, I don't know if they hate the music. I think they love the music.
But they hate the culture around it. She just talked about ghetto and being ratchet and all of that.
Definitely a Taylor Swift fan.
But she also probably got a little bit of Kodak or something 21 on there too. She gonna listen to that.
It's still some white chicks out here that don't fuck with none of that.
And so I guess before we play more videos, I think the next two is going to be black people speaking about black fatigue. But when you look at the Shiloh Hendricks incident, you look at the lady on Piers Morgan. I think her name is Lily Gaddis, maybe. And then you look at this lady right here, and you can expand that out to the Nick Fuentes's. You can extend it out to like a lot of the far rights, in which this is now becoming very, very popular talking points in general. That's getting a lot of traction behind it. Again, a woman raised almost $1 million just for saying proudly the N-word to a young autistic kid. Is this a sign of a change in the social landscape? Again, if we look at the right now, there is a hard identification with like it's anti-DEI, it's anti-affirmative action, it's anti-equality, it's anti-equity, it's anti one of the buzzwords for the election was meritocracy, XYZ. And now it's going into like, hey, we want to take away censorship. And censorship meaning we just want to say them words that we want to say. Do you think that this is a change in the social landscape? And if you do, what would be the impact of white people, quote unquote, moving away from black empathy?
I don't think it's a change. I think this is the same. Like, you know, they raise money for Kyle Rittenhouse. They raise money for any of these shooters, any of these killers, any of the cops that kill people. They raise a lot of money. Like, this has been a common, consistent trend.
Do you think that this is like more emboldened though? Where like Kyle Rittenhouse killed white people too, so like they could hide it inside like certain ways. Where like this is just saying, hey, I want to say the N-word. I want to put my money behind somebody saying the N-word, and I don't give a fuck what y'all say. This is like blatant. I don't like black culture. I'm critical of it, and I ain't fucking with it.
I think it's definitely,
and this is on mainstream media.
It's a new iteration of something that's been going on. You know, like I say, they've been coming together and, you know, supporting each other no matter how negative it is. Like, we see campaign after campaign of like somebody raising some white person raising all type of money, whether it's a cop that just killed some unarmed people or whatever. They've been doing this, you know. So I mean, this is kind of new with the whole use of the N-word, but I mean, they've been doing this. I think if anything, we need to learn from it and support it. I mean, we even tried with old dude who just ran the cop over, and they took his campaign down. I think off GoFundMe or wherever they was raising his money.
Give Singo. Yeah, he ran the cop over. Is that the black dude that killed his son?
The black dude whose son got killed. He ran over a cop. Apparently, it was the wrong cop. I don't know if it was, but he had a campaign where he raised a lot of money where black people were supporting him, and they took it down. I think GoFundMe took his campaign down and said, that they wouldn't support it. But they've supported a lot of other similar campaigns for the other side.
If he was on GoFundMe doesn't. It's Give Send Go. They're the big one.
Okay, Give
Where,
and Go. I know one of them, but they took it down.
Because the Carmelo Anthony, like his and the Shiloh, their GoFundMe's did get taken down also.
Yeah.
But Give Send Go is the one where the like pretty much whether it's the Cal Rittenhouses, the Carmelo or Shiloh's, that's where it's the quote unquote principled one that says that until proven guilty, we will allow you to raise the money.
And I think what I notice about this is just the trend of when Trump is actually in office versus not in office, and how people feel more empowered to have certain behaviors. That's kind of my opinion. I think for the next few years, we're going to see much more of this, in my opinion. And it's because, but I also believe in one of the universal laws of the pendulum always swing, and with that means that if it's going this extreme this way, then it's going to swing back to a other extreme on the other way at some point. And so I think these next few years is really going to pull that pendulum back this way, and what's going to come after that is really going to it's going to be a wide sweeping thing.
When we about 48, the world gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine what the hard swing back on the left would be. I don't want to.
But there's gonna be a progressive movement that comes from this.
Oh no, for sure. I completely agree.
Super progressive. Like this might get AOC
you can
elected.
see the pendulum swing every single
reparations.
This the shit to get AOC elected.
Let them say it. We might get the reparations on the back end.
I don't know. Like I wish we had like a Stark, one of the guys up here, because I do think that as they've explained out their plan as much as they are able to explain out their plan, it's that they're advocating for the right to give them reparations, in which this is the right now. Like they are as far away from any version of giving any group anything, and they want to get back to the good old boys days. And it's just like an interesting like take to say that these are the people that you're just gonna convince off the strength.
Oh yeah,
and that but none of those guys is here. So nonetheless, I'll play a couple more clips, and we'll kind of get into the actual concept of black fatigue.
Might make you uncomfortable, but it needs to be made. There's a growing sentiment, most recently, of individuals who are proclaiming they do have black fatigue. And you don't have to be a non-black person to have black fatigue. What does that phrase actually mean? Essentially, black fatigue is a growing weariness of the actions of the quote unquote black community. But it goes deeper than that, because we are in 2025 now, and we are being judged based on the content of our character and not the color of our skin. But the interesting part is the lie that's been sold to the black community in particular is that the color of our skin dictates the content of our character. That's why in the black community, sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, you are acting white, when they're talking to someone like myself who doesn't act the way most people would expect a conventional black person to act. In their minds, there is a correct way to act black. And the people in your ethnic group who fulfill those very negative stereotypes, those are the ones who are going to essentially drag down the collective whole. And that's why there's individuals who are black who do and can have black fatigue, because they see how damaging it is to see the worst of us attract all this negative attention that then unfortunately gets ascribed to the entire race all too often. But what's unfortunate is here in 2025, now we have to contend with the fact that there's people who are so sick and tired of seeing those negative aspects, those negative individuals in the black community attracting all this attention. That's what is spurring this black fatigue.
Play another one from one of the guys.
Opinion about black fatigue. Black fatigue actually exists. However, black fatigue does not exist in a way that a lot of non-black people think. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. It is the culture, the society, and the environment you are raised in. It has nothing to do with race, and it never was about race, because if it was about race, then every black person would be acting like that. Black fatigue is a poison well that is consumed by certain locations and environment. Another majorly important factor is accountability. If black people in general don't hold each other and others accountable for our and their actions, there will be no change within our communities. The destruction of property and violence, the need to be extremely fucking loud and ratchet for no reason. I've seen some of these videos from non-white people talking about the black fatigue, and they do have a point. For the black people who is watching this, believe me, I did not want to hear any of this shit from non-black people. However, some of them, not all of them, because some of them were just straight up racist, but some of them had some solid points. When it comes to gentrification, credit scores, stimulus
Where
checks,
this nigga from, man?
like public schools and neighborhoods,
All right,
government, the CIA,
Massachusetts or
United
some
Health,
shit.
all of this was targeted towards the black community so we can end up how we are today. At this moment in 2025, the CIA and the government, they're running on autopilot because we're doing the work for them. They have done enough damage towards the black community that they can sit back, crack open a fucking beer, and watch us tear each other apart. The United States' greatest weapon they have on the black community is the black community not holding each other accountable for our actions. Truthfully, we need to start.
Fellas, yeah, react. What are y'all thoughts?
I think it's a mix of truth and it's a mix of anti-blackness. Nobody is. He's just talking about accountability. Nobody is like talking about the conditions that are creating the cultures or the mannerisms or the things that people are apparently getting tired of. Like I say, I understand it. But at the same time, I can't get online and talk to a camera about it being a fatigue. Like, yeah, there's some parts of our culture that I don't like, and I do feel like get magnified too much. But I feel like from the responses I've seen and the type of guys that they seem to be, it seems to be a lot of their rhetoric is kind of rooted in a little bit of anti-blackness. I'm feeling, I'm not sensing the genuineness, because like I say, it's not coming with any solutions or any context, just criticism. And to me, that's kind of a little anti-black. Like, do we have work to do? Do we have issues? Yes. And I feel like both cultures and all cultures do, but I feel like certain parts of our culture is magnified, whether it's internet, whether it's our music industry, certain things they specifically magnify to hold our culture down, and I think we do show a lot of accountability in a lot of ways. We call out stuff all the time in our culture, but it don't seem to stop the powers that be from magnifying certain things that they don't do with any other culture but us. Like, so
I also think like when it comes to black fatigue, because this isn't something that's like a new term. I remember talking about this.
Well, they flipped the version of what it means. But.
News to me.
But the struggle, as far as like the black fatigue, was based in the struggle. Like I remember being one point, like being like, damn it, like it's so like. But then like, I think with this new term, it's based on the conversation. Like people just don't want to talk about it no more, and I think that stems from like a lot of what they were saying. I think that there is some truth in the part that like the negative aspects of our culture, of our communities, are the ones that get the light and get the attention a lot of the time. Those negative aspects and a lot of the conversations are based in those negative aspects. And I think black people, white people, I think a lot of people in general are just tired of those conversations. But I don't think that's our reality. I think if you look at the numbers, I think if you study down, if you look at black people in our reality, I think you can see a progression. I think we are doing better than our parents' generation as far as like education, the 2 household families, team. But there's a lot of statistics that show progression. And for people to get the black fatigue, it's about those conversations. But if you look with them in the community, there is progress. There's still a long way to go. There's still work to do. But I feel like we have made progress. So I personally don't feel black fatigue as I did years ago, because I can see more progress. I can see some of the work being the fruits of the labor that we've done. But the conversation is still a negative conversation. I understand when the liberal left pushes a negative connotation, the right pushes back. I can understand how there could be a black fatigue outside of the community if all you're looking at is the news, is the music, is the the culture. I can understand how anybody could get a fatigue because that's not the real reality of what's boots on the ground. That's not what's that's just a projection.
G, is this another attack on black culture, or does the criticism have some validity? Is there some lack of accountability? Is there some victim mentality? Or, yeah, again, like I said, it's just an attack on black culture?
I mean, I think it's just an attack on the culture. If I'm being honest, I think this word black fatigue is a community's way of just not embracing what I would call white empowerment, because they basically on a run. I feel like Trump got elected. They kicking these migrants out the country, taking their shit back, so to speak. They got rid of affirmative action. You niggas can't get no jobs no more. We in here now. We the number one seed. I think this is just a part of the chain reaction of events that
been the number one seed though.
That got no, because there was a narrative going on that got Trump elected where people were feeling like they were getting left behind. We don't have access to jobs, all these, etc. And so now you got Trump in office, gonna bring you back, man. We getting manufacturing back. We getting all this stuff back. I just feel like it's more of a reflection of a community feeling empowered to show a face that they've traditionally have been forced to hide. Now I feel like they feel empowered to where they can take the mask off. And it's not so much a black fatigue thing. It's more so these white folks are feeling themselves and they're using us as like target practice, or as a, not target practice, too strong of a word, but using us as a scapegoat, or as somebody to project these feelings on that they've been withholding for all this time. It's like, I ain't gotta hold this shit back now. I'm just gonna let this shit go because I'm empowered.
But a lot of the shit they have fatigue for is stuff that's pushed by the left, by the music executive. It's not a true representation of black community.
I don't even think they have fatigue for it, is my point though, Johnny. I don't think it's real fatigue. I just think they empowered.
I don't know.
I mean, there's always been some black hate out there. I ain't gonna argue that. Like, there's always been black like in that thing. But I think like if you're talking about like they're tired of like quote unquote will be like the ghetto, the stuff like that. That's not.
Well, having, to me, it seems like they're tired of quote unquote having to care, and or quote unquote having to be empathetic. That's what it seems like they're saying.
And if you're tired of that, you already don't care. I guess they tired of, like G said, they're tired of hiding it. They feel empowered. They feel
that's the fatigue. Yeah.
And now it's like they feel safe in this current atmosphere we in to show their true colors and show what they don't like.
But it's not just a black thing too. They're gonna talk like this to the LGBTQs. They're gonna talk like this to other communities. This is gonna be more just like, nah, everybody's getting it now.
Well, and I guess because I see the guy in the comment, he talking about like, but what they I guess they won't because they gonna have this. We have to live up to, I guess, a certain standard that white people have created in America. But I guess there's certain parts of our culture that's not. But there are parts of our culture that where we excel and we do very great. And there's a lot of things where we're not the negative, but people just gotta see, and actually see what black culture is, and not just take what the news and what music, the movies give you.
People and this guy, people run on their heritage all the time in America. I was just watching a politician out of New York, and every 5 sentences he kept talking about how he was Irish Catholic or Italian Irish Catholic. I'm Italian Irish Catholic. I'm like, that's always been a thing. Like, Europeans do come over here and often still claim I'm a this, that, or this European once they come to America. It happens all the time.
All right. I think that this is he's a black conservative commentator. And then again, we'll continue rolling with it. After this, I'll go to a more left-leaning POV.
Is real. Everybody is black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of black people, but it's two specific types of black people that everyone is tired of. Number one, everybody is tired of loud, ghetto, and ratchet, and violent, and mean, and angry all the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other black people do not want to deal with these people. You know when you see them in public, you know when they're going to give you attitude at the CVS. Everybody knows it and they want to avoid it. The second group of black people that everybody is tired of is this sort of like fake black bougie intelligentsia who kind of like walks around telling everybody how they're supposed to think or speak or act when it comes to anything black. These are the most privileged black people in the world. These people have built enormous platforms and have so much money, and yet they are still perpetual victims all the time. And all they ever do is lecture white people about how to talk to or about black people, and then they lecture other black people.
Yeah, I do got Angela Rye fatigue. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yes, your thoughts.
All these people, all these black dudes got like a, I don't know, a similar aesthetic like of corniness that I'm getting from them. Like
these are the black conservatives for sure.
The bad shape up crew, you know, it's like niggas who ain't never been to nobody's hood.
FBA Black is coming out.
You know,
you doing a hairline check. Oh shit. FBA
they hate their own blackness. They ain't never been to nobody's hood. They probably grew up around white people, white schools and shit.
A Black about to ask where they from. Oh
yeah,
shit.
give me a real nigga like TikTok. Like I'm already thinking all these TikTokers be weirdos to me, man. And like I say, I've had my fill of the ghetto stuff, and you know, I troll and I post stuff like, you know, look at these niggas and shit. But I can also tell when something is just anti-blackness. Like, yeah, like we hate the ghetto stuff, but every culture got it. White people got their white trash. They got their meth heads in West Virginia and Ohio and doing opium. They got their homeless. They got their killers. But
we hate those kind of white people too. The loud, the angry, the
they
violent.
They got their moonshiners out in Appalachia.
Yeah, but like they got their fights. They got their drunk fights. They got their white girls fighting. Their white boys fighting. They got their ghetto ratchet shit too.
Trailer park.
But being the 13% of the population, for some reason, they want to magnify that in our music and these algorithms and whatnot. You know, what for every sex you read, you got a positive black woman doing something. You know, for every fight video, you got a black man inventing something or doing something great. They choose to show these things. It gets them views, it gets them shares. But to act like that's all we are and that's all of our culture is anti-blackness. And they could be spending this energy on their TikToks showcasing positivity instead of talking about the niggas that they tired of. You know, show us what you're not tired of. And that's why I think it's just nothing but anti-blackness, because y'all using y'all platform to basically, like the one said, you doing the work for these white people, these anti-black people, by sitting there saying that we tired of this, we tired of that. Okay, show something different. Like, because that's not all we're doing. We're doing a lot of great and positive things too, but all people want to talk about is the negative and the ghetto and the ratchet. But that's just what gets magnified. That's not all black people. That's not all black. That's not our culture. It's a subculture. It's part of us, but it's not all of us. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
And
a very small percentage.
And that's the part of our culture that has been incentivized by white people. And by the music industry, by the that's what they say.
Or by the algorithm. The Caribbean boat. I said Caribbean boat. The cruise boat that has the fighting happening on it. That's pulling up on your timeline based off your algorithm.
And so you know, some of these most despicable platforms are independently owned by non-white owners, you know, whether it be World Stars, Media Takeouts of the world, platforms.
They push the negative. They
highlight all that.
White people push the negative.
But
The
I don't even know
ghetto
if those are
image.
like the primary spaces anymore at
Yeah,
all.
we don't even
I
go
think
to
it's just it's Twitter and algorithm.
but they set a cultural tone of acceptance for certain things in like internet culture, like what we see today on the internet. And like, I mean, because World Star became a thing, right? It was a verb. Oh, World Star, pulling out your phone because of World Star's light. So it really created a culture
But
of
they also
embracing
showcase a
certain
lot of
degeneracy.
Degenerate
I
behavior.
agree, but they also
They got-
showcase a lot of positivity too on World Star. Like after they became the big platform, you know, they were big
was a
on
mix.
showing black
Yeah,
businesses.
that is actually a fair take.
It's a mix,
to be honest.
but we know what they get on for though.
But they're not the popular.
You don't
They're not the
like,
go-to no
not,
more.
not today. Not today.
You get
Not today.
politics. You get a freestyle from Loaded Lux. Then you go
Yeah,
see like
yeah.
the World Star Bunnies, and then you'll see like
Everything.
World Star was a
Yo,
one-stop
World
shop.
Star was the shit, boy. That shit had me for hours, boy. That shit was better than YouTube at one point.
Hell yeah.
It was a wide range of culture. You remember like having a girl come over and you just pop open the laptop and y'all just sit and just watch different World Star videos.
Like, oh, this look interesting.
Yeah.
Nah,
What
Shorty
y'all
was
looking
on
to
that
watch World Star? That's
one
all.
back in the day.
World Star unsigned artists. Like niggas was paying bread just to get that.
Just to get
World
on.
Star.
Get on
Yeah.
that page. Now that was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I could play a bit of. Let me find my guy. Okay, this would be a little bit more of a liberal perspective. I'll push play, and we'll join it. I think we have one call in so far. I'll bring you up in a second.
More buzzwords to justify it. The newest one is black fatigue. Before that, it was DEI. You understand there's never anything good enough for these races, right? Let's explain what black fatigue actually is. Black fatigue is actually a book on how racism erodes the mind, body, and spirit and explores systemic racism and its effect on black people. These racists aren't even smart enough to know the definitions of the words they're using, such as DEI. Why are we giving them any attention? And why are they increasing in number? Most people that are racist have zero black friends, have never interacted with a black person in their life, but they're somehow racist still because they're chronically online. You chronically online people need to get a life. Yeah, you're chronically online. No wonder you're so scared and angry at everything all the time. And you're looking for an outlet. And for some reason, that expression comes to making up some new crazy buzzword to be obsessed with a group of people that have no idea who you are and have never thought about you, but your entire thought process is on them. We're actually talking about race in 2025, justifying 5-year-olds getting called slurs with autism. What? And I go outside in real life and none of y'all are outside. They're chronically online. But go ahead, keep dropping your videos. We're gonna find out who you are. We will.
I do want to point out that there is definitely similarities on the on the right and the left when it comes down to this chronically online thing. This is where hopefully next we'll get to the conversation of the dark side of the algorithm, where you should start seeing a lot of these quote unquote extremist groups, like where like it just be so many insults and like statements hurled about people that they've never met, places they've never been to, things that they've never seen. And like it's so strong and like said with such conviction that it's interesting me. But it's based off of like, being able to build different communities online. He's speaking about this inside the sense of the right and how they've, galvanized their own specific communities. I don't know. I'll toss it to y'all. He said a lot. I'll let y'all respond. Let's not all talk at once.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, he was the only one I saw like kind of make some sense, for real. But like, I don't really disagree with what he was saying. It's just like, they kind of taking a new term, misinterpreted it to kind of fit their own racist narratives and stuff. And like I say, it's a bunch of, cowards online. And even like that white lady who spoke earlier, who won't say the N-word or say nigga in front of actual black people. You got a lot of that. You got a lot of people that's bold behind keyboards. You got a lot of people who don't have, no real life, and their life is just exerting hate. whether they mean it or don't mean it. You know, that's what they get off on. And like, we do got to stop giving everything attention. Stop being so reactionary. You know, Asada Shakur say, revolutionary people can't be reactionary, meaning that, like, you can't get nothing done if you're constantly in your emotions reacting to every offense and every single thing. Like, who cares what these people say? Who cares what white ladies say on TikTok? Like, who fucking cares? We know what we got to do. We know what we need to be focused on. We don't got to be sitting here mad all the time somebody do something. She called the kid nigga. That sucks, man. But who fucking cares at the end of the day? Let's move on, because we give this shit power, the more we react to it. And for people that hate us, it's like, all right, I want to stir some niggas up today too. Let me go do the same thing. But the moment we start reacting, just like any type of bully syndrome, it don't have no more power.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we definitely give it a lot of power when you react to it. Like, you could take away their power by not reacting to it. And like you say, a lot of the people that hate black people aren't around black people. I know very few people that actually spend a lot of time, have close black friends that then turn around and get online and hate black people. So it is a lot of that online community. You see it no matter a lot of different discussions, debates, a lot of different targets, but a lot of time it's the people that's inside that do a lot of the hate, and then a lot of time that hate is emboldened by that, that insulation you get when you ain't really got to touch earth, when you ain't really got to see those people. And I think getting outside, getting off the phones and everything, it does help build community. It helps build that understanding, and it kills a lot of that hate, because it's hard to hate somebody when you learning from them, when you interacting with them. If you just online and all you see is the worst and all you hear is the worst, and it's a perpetual cycle, yeah, of course you're gonna say some stupid stuff or feel a weird way, but you gotta change your perspective on that. I think that's the the biggest thing that people need to learn. And it is an anti-black thing if you just gonna have a negative perspective and not try to change it, because it's very easy to get outside and you gotta touch grass sometimes.
And when we talk about the attention piece, I think the example with the autistic child is a great just example when you talk about just one thing begets another, and where you focus your energy matters, because the incident took place between wherever it took place, and a third party didn't just intervene, they world started. They pulled out their phone and then intervene to record what their intervention to the lady. So it's like a couple of things there. It's like you could have just genuinely spoke up on the behalf of the woman and the child, just on some man shit, without pulling out your phone, and just addressed it right there, and it wouldn't have been on the news. That's like, you could have just easily handled it but you didn't. You addressed it. Almost.
Well, I think cultures, we probably dinosaurs in that.
No, man, I agree with that, bro. If something is really moving me to, but let me finish the point. Let me finish the point. If something is moving me to pull out my phone,
but that's what we're dinosaurs. That's what I'm saying.
No, I disagree with that, because if something is going on and I need to interject, I'm not worried about trying to make content out of it. If it's really that serious for me personally, and I just say,
but. If
something matters to you and something happens, you're not pulling out your phone, is my point. If somebody you love is hurting.
I agree with you. But again, that to me, you didn't refute the idea of us being dinosaurs. Where I think that now the new culture of being able to get justice is by the whole online doxing. And I'm past, I'm a little bit too old of that generation to where if an incident is happening, I'm not looking to bring up my phone and record it or do anything like that. Where now everything is trial by proof and evidence, and put it on the internet, get this person fired and get this person, that was the whole thing. The reason why she has to give whatever it is because she got, I'm guessing, fired from her job. Because of he posted this to show how much he was a racist and whatever. It was content with a purpose, and it's just a new way.
But this is my
deal with it. But again, this isn't for me to say that I agree with it, but I'm a dinosaur in the way that the interaction happens.
No, but the point is about giving stuff attention. And so
no,
if you wanna make a point to take advantage of an opportunity to intervene with a racist and make content out of that, and then post it on the internet, then like this is what I'm saying. Like when you feed into these narratives, this is the type of stuff that we open up the door for. Versus if you don't make content out of this, she doesn't get a GoFundMe for anything, and she's still just poor white trash.
Got you, but let me ask you this.
My only thing for recording would be for if I gotta show the police some shit so they believe it. But yeah, I think when you go from that to like, all right, let me put this on my TikTok and type shit, then it's like now you creating.
But fellas, let me ask both of y'all this, because both of y'all were for Mark Lamont Hill allowing that white lady to say the N-word on Piers Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because like right now nobody knows who this guy is. Like he didn't like come out and like broadcast it. It was more so in essence for the exact same point in which y'all said that y'all wanted that white woman to say the N-word on Piers Morgan, where it's saying in essence like this is the real, this is what's happening, and like if you actually gonna say it, you got to stand on it.
No, so my reasoning for saying Mark Lamont should have let it happen was because one, his reaction went viral in a way that brought attention to it. So it's like.
But you don't think like her saying the N-word on national TV with Piers Morgan provoking her would have went more viral?
In a different way. In a different way. In a different way.
Viral is viral, and I didn't really see it as Pierce provoking her. More so, he was like trying to like, all right, that's what you feel. If you stand on it. And
well, no, but that's a bit of like
it would have been bad on her. Period. I don't see any. It's like if that would have took place, that would have just been bad on her. Right.
That would last it for
would it be the
her.
Same thing,
Let's go last with her.
It's not the same thing. We're talking about two kids playing on a playground, and a parent calling a child a nigger.
I get that. Why don't you want him to post that?
My point was related to the fact that if we give things attention and feed into that thing, it will create more of the same thing.
Right.
This guy, but my point is
now put that same thing to that white dude saying the N-word on Piers Morgan.
No, because you're not
that, and it gives more people power to actually say that on national TV.
You're mixing points, because the point is that guy went out of his way to inject himself into something that had nothing to do with him and create content out of it. This is a natural quote unquote conversation between a host and a panelist, and he's finding out in real time how much of a racist this woman is, and he's in real time like confirming, wait, you say the N-word? And there's like a linear progression to how they got to that point.
But you don't think that
they're already on a platform, that's already content based versus an individual person creating content. Like,
it's way different.
Viral. You still see her views, but I think her saying it would confirm her. It's gonna stay on the internet forever, and anybody that stands beside her is going to show that, oh, you agree with this too.
Right, so but I guess like, so I understand that the sense that this was something that happened at a park and this was on a media platform are completely different ideas. So I agree with that. And I see how those things are different. But the idea of both of the idea of that black man and what he wanted her to do and what Piers Morgan wanted that woman to do is the exact same thing, which is to exploit them and show them and shame them in public for saying the N-word. And yeah, like that's the part that I don't really see was different if we're critiquing the idea of.
I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that guy's motives, though. I can't speak to that guy's motives or why he posted that.
Okay, but landing the point would be like, to me, both of those things speak to the things y'all are saying is negative. So if the complaint is we're putting these things into the atmosphere, and it's going to beget more people doing these things, right? To me, it's hard to condemn the white woman saying the N-word inside one video and then promoting the white woman saying the N-word in another one, where the outcome ends up being the same thing. Both of them go viral. A bunch of people become empowered to say the N-word.
I don't know. I just don't think that they the same because one is already on a show that's already live, it's already going on, and it was it came up organically. It wasn't like the lead topic of the show. Like today we're gonna have a white woman say nigga, tune in at 5 type shit. It was progressive, and I felt like her saying that, people are already empowered. They want to say it or not. But I think letting it know where you stand in that context made sense. I think in the sense of the recording on the park type thing, okay, you got the video. If things get criminal, you need to show cops this one went down. I think that's cool. But I do think the more content we make around stuff, and then you got somebody raising all of this money for this person, that creates a problem and a snowball effect. More so,
and we don't know that guy's motive of posting that content.
The same thing though, because they both made content, and then that lady is only making money off of saying the N-word.
I mean, she's the new Ann Coulter. It seemed like that. This is becoming her brand, So of course, like I say, either way, not saying it or saying it.
But y'all don't see the similarities in the two.
No, because like my thing is like the key difference for me is the fact that this woman who said whatever to the child, when that thing gets posted, we don't know why this man recorded it. One, we don't know why he posted it. Two, and when he posts it, it's out of his hands. And because when he posted, what then happens is the internet goes crazy, starts finding, wait, who is this person? And then the internet creates a storm of attention in a way where it's like we want to take this person down. But if that white girl says the N-word on that show, she's already a self-proclaimed racist who has a platform for being a racist. Who apparently is all these things. Like she is like, from what I understand, she's already a branded racist who has a platform that she stands on.
And this will be like an unbranded racist. But I guess like I don't see like
the white lady said it on the Piers Morgan show. Do you think that would make her safe out here in these streets if this broadcast and this viral and that, like, you see this lady out? Oh, that's a woman that say nigga. Do you what do you think her reality would change, like as far as her safety out here?
I don't think that it.
I don't think she would have got a GoFundMe. I don't think she would have raised money because.
Well, she already makes money off saying the N-word, but
I'm saying though, like she would be. I feel like she would be unsafe out here. Some niggas see her out here, they'll throw something at her.
She already had millions of views saying the N-word already. Like she was already like that's what she's been known for.
I still haven't seen her actually say it publicly. I just seen her say that she does say it, but I haven't.
That's what her big TikTok following is based off of. All like her going.
She say it on TikTok.
Yeah. Like Mark Lamont Hill kind of spoke about it when he was kind of breaking down.
Okay.
Prior to the interview, he didn't know Myron was going to be on there or her, and then in him doing his research on her, he's like, oh, like if I had known, I wouldn't even been on the thing. But like in essence, it was a woman that's just known for saying the N-word on TikTok. Like she's supposed to be a conservative trad wife to say the N-word. In essence, that's her whole shtick. And like I said, like to me, like I said, I understand the differences, but I guess it's a distinction to me that's I don't know how much it matters. Like if we're saying what this guy put this up for, to me that's same way. Like I don't think, in my opinion, it matters. Why what Piers Morgan's motives would be. I think that there's a big group that is thirsty for people to say the N-word with the hard ER about black people in public, so then it can soften the blow for them to say it later. However they get it, they're gonna love that part. And that'd be my POV. Hey, you here. Talk to us.
I'm thinking like this right here, people saying black fatigue and different things, and then the white woman saying the N-word. If you look at far as in racism, it's been a little ongoing joke for a while saying about, you know what I'm saying, black women are more racist than black men are. But you can see that how racist white women are, but these black men always want to date them.
Do me a quick favor.
Yeah.
You're popping a lot, so go out and come right back in, and we'll see if that
Okay, I will.
that fixes it.
All right, no problem.
All right. So yeah, nonetheless, as he does that, let me remove him from the stage while he comes back. I don't know, G. Tell me why I'm wrong.
No, look, to me, to me, the biggest difference is Pierce Morgan is a known, like, hot button, push the edge content type of person. Like,
But
that's his
do you agree
brand.
that
That's
the outcome ends up being the same thing, though.
No, I don't, because Pierce
What would be the difference in the outcome?
Because this girl, the difference is you've created a new platform versus this girl. Like I said, this girl has already branded herself as what she is. We don't necessarily need to create more of hers. And when we these instances like this, now we got a new martyr, and now she's got a platform, and now she's got funding, and now they've got another. And so it's like when you create another.
But what did that? How did that hurt us? As far as like that's white money just being circulated amongst white money. They
I'm not saying it.
probably racist.
It's
like,
but
how it's different.
What was y'all overall point? I thought that y'all was saying that the
point was
more we
about
put
it.
this out in the air, not necessarily. I didn't know that y'all was talking about platforming.
Yeah,
I thought it was more so like the idea of the more we allow this behavior to happen, the more it's going to continue to perpetuate these behaviors to happen.
I can't speak for A Black.
Okay, yours was
in
just
terms
about
of what I was saying was just about how where you focus your attention, you create more of the thing you don't want. And this is an example of that, was what I was trying to say, because this guy started by intervening, maybe thinking he's doing something good, but by focusing his attention, he ends up creating this snowstorm of something that in the long run, like, was that a positive thing or was it not? But this is the outcome regardless. So it's like, in reality, are you better off just like not paying that attention when it happens, because then it won't lead to what has happened now? Or at minimum, just speaking to it and not making it something more than what it needs to be in the moment. It was the original point I was trying to make.
So I guess like using that, like that lane of logic. So are either one of y'all, I guess, a part of like the group that says, I prefer to know the devil, or you know what I mean, the devil
you know.
Right. Like I've heard that argument said before, and I think last time we had this conversation about her actually saying it, a piece of that came up where it's like getting the person to say it would be the part where, like, at least now we know this person is this issue. Does that not apply anymore, or
I prefer to like, because
either way, I'm just trying to understand the consistency in the conversation.
But tell me what that has to do with this conversation.
Okay. Speaking about the white lady that is using the N-word and then pushing the fact that this is the devil that you know. This does happen. This is the a thing that is still prevalent. I don't know what community it is. This is how people are thinking and saying and acting, even to children. I think that was in concept the idea that was trying to get put out. Again, we can't get in his brain, and we'll be like arguing to argue if we like say it. Like, I don't know if that was exactly what it is. If I was to make the assumption, if I was to build a case, that's what I would be building a case around. In which that then is the idea of exploiting the devil that we know. This is letting people know, like, no, sometimes it's not just a systemic thing. Sometimes it's not just a something that's hidden behind. Sometimes it's really blatant in your face. And this is what this looks like.
No, I'd
that
rather
would be me bringing it into the like that.
I'd rather know. Like, I mean, like if people gonna say it, if you sit up here and listen to how we feel about it and all that, and you still feel comfortable saying it, go ahead and say it. Like, I ain't gonna because I think like, and you online, if you say it to my face, it's disrespectful. It'll be handled accordingly. But as far as like, if you want to say it, like, Ain't nobody stopping people from saying it. I ain't gonna like trip out. I would like to know who really wants to say it. Like if you really, really want to
We
say
see
it.
you, Unc. Stop playing.
Yeah, I was got that But yeah, I definitely like to know who's the devil and who's not the devil. It's like in Sinners, you know, like niggas was trying to figure out that a vampire. Now that we know who the vampire is, it make life a lot easier.
And I would say the thing of the different, like the devil, you know, is one thing, but once I know is that, now I don't think it's necessarily my duty to go report it, if you will. Like me knowing who you are for what you are is for me to know that you are who you are. I don't necessarily think it's my duty to like.
Well, you should warn certain people. Like, I mean, you probably
if needed, but see, but this person, but this, who is this? But my point is, who is this person? She's a fucking.
You gotta be the Choctaw. Come on now.
You
gotta knock on that door.
She's at
and let them know. Hey, those is vampires.
But like I'm saying, but who is this? This is like this is not a like who is she? She's respectfully like she's a nobody. She has like who cares about this person?
But again, one would say
got fat though.
Exactly, but because of the attention we're giving her. That's what
one would say. The same thing. Nobody knew who the hell this Lily Garber, whatever name is, and she is now viral also, off of the commentary that she said beforehand, and the fact that she said that she is, and so like that's what I'm saying. Like both things apply inside these scenarios. Like there's a lot of parallels inside both of these scenarios. Like Piers Morgan is huge. This is like
she wouldn't have even made it to Piers Morgan unless she had already reached a certain level of notoriety. Would you agree? You can't, but it's gonna pop up on Piers Morgan. Without something going on.
But we can't pretend like Piers Morgan can't 10x her.
But
that's the idea of platforming.
Do any of y'all remember back here, probably about a year or two ago? I guess a couple of years back, Delroy. I forget his name, Delroy, when he was on the panel with the white men, and go ahead and say it. I said with you. And then he kept, you know, and the white dude said, "No, I can't say that." It's kind of the same thing.
No, I get it.
That's the best way to handle it. That's the absolute best
I will
way
also
to
say
handle
that
it.
came from a movie. That was the best.
No, that wasn't a movie. It was an actual.
No, that panel was a part of a movie. It was a panel that was a part of a movie. I think it was the last Best Man that happened. Whatever the last Best Man, I feel like it was a part of that movie where it was a scene in the movie, but the sentiment still kind of reigns.
Yeah, but it was Delroy, right?
Yeah,
the older guy, Delroy.
He was beside the centers.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, but the whole thing is like this right here. Everybody is saying black fatigue and this and that, whatever. If you look inside of the thesaurus, fatigue is just another word for tired. All it is that they just put another word on tired. They're tired of black people. But the thing is that they're saying they're tired of black people. They're not tired of black people. They're tired of niggas. Everybody is tired of niggas. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, we don't like nobody on this panel like niggas. Nobody. Niggas, that's one of the things with us. Every last one of us, don't nobody like a nigga. Niggas, it's get on everybody's nerves. But niggas be the forefront, and instead of somebody saying black, they think all black people are niggas. They tired of niggas. Everybody is tired of niggas. You tired. Every last one of y'all tired of niggas.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Johnny, I'm gonna throw this one to you. Are you tired of niggas?
Hey, I got one of my famous debates is accountability versus empathy, and I think we should be in the empathy space
for the whites.
Empathy
for black
niggas?
people.
Okay.
I don't have no empathy for niggas. Fuck them niggas. I'm tired of niggas. Niggas be in the forefront of everything. Everything a black man do to get progress, a nigga goddamn take it 2 years back on it.
Oh man, I mean that's the debate. I guess
To hell with niggas.
We gotta lean more into accountability.
See, y'all. The thing with y'all is this right here. Every last one of y'all, college educated, Y'all moved away from niggas. I live around niggas. I hate niggas. Niggas get on my goddamn nerves. Niggas doing niggerish shit all the time.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, like this is honest to God. I done said on Unc porch out there in South Carolina. He say, "I hate niggas." I love Unc. Unc gonna be Unc no matter what. Keep going, Unc.
Yeah, but
you got
that's
know.
kind of.
Let us know.
Unc got black fatigue.
But that's kind of what it is. They everything that y'all stand for and the way y'all live and the way all of us that consider ourselves good black people. A nigga come up and be on the news for some shit. You can have a child that be a genius and graduated from college at 10 years old or something like this, but they'll put the nigga child that stole a car, went out here and got in trouble and all this shit. They won't put that on there. They gonna put that nigga up there. And that's all everybody sees niggas. It always happen like that. They always are in the forefront of everything. And them being tired of them, I don't care about them being tired of them. I'm tired of them too.
Hey, but Unc, a little bit of pushback. But does the left not empower or they allow for, they embolden that shit from black people. Those are the ones they put on the Section 8. But I'm saying, but like, it's the reason a lot of it perpetuate the cycle. It's not that, like, that's not all black people. That's not. I mean, it's a
I guess let me ask you this.
No, but see, I'm saying, listen, give me 1 second on this.
Question.
There's no difference between a black nigga and a white nigga. White niggas is trailer park trash, hillbillies, all of them. Them niggas too. But at the same point,
there's a lot of empathy.
That's what
a lot of empathy for them.
Ain't no empathy for them. They don't talk about them.
Bro, they
don't talk about
stuff. They get them drugs and the white
They don't
boys.
give them drugs. They don't give them
Well,
drugs.
out in Portland, they enable all them drug camps and all of that stuff out there in
But
Portland.
they just said that the regular people don't have to see the drug addicts.
They don't. They don't see them.
Portland. Like that shit. That's why people are moving from Portland, because they're enabling those white people. They show them a lot of empathy. They get sent, instead of getting how they did the crack epidemic, they treated the meth epidemic way different. They treated it with a lot more empathy.
It is a little bit more empathy on that. But at the same point,
people do.
but you don't see them on the news like that. They hide them. They hide their shit. They put everything that a black person does is not a black person, but niggas, they put that on. They put it on Front Street.
What white people do is they separate that shit from their whiteness. They don't put that on white people. Just like with blackness, we get associated with the negative shit. White people, when they see poor white people, they don't look at it as white. White people don't have no unity when it comes to that. That's just a poor person. But when it comes to they don't approximate that with their white.
Let me hop in real quick. So I'll ask y'all this. And maybe this goes to the point of what Unc is asking, and I'll try and bridge the gap with the question. Well, it's not necessarily bridging the gap, but I'll maybe invoke the flame with a question. Should we be holding nigga shit more accountable?
Not my job. Not my job.
That's your job. Okay.
You said should we be holding what accountable? Nigga shit.
Yeah, the nigga shit more accountable.
Yeah, I think that you know what I'm saying. If you moved away from it and you're not around it, you can't brush it up. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with that. It ain't this that. But the whole thing is with the snitch and all this shit. Everybody in the hood ain't part of gangs and all this shit, but they don't want to snitch. I ain't gonna tell. I ain't so and so whatever. But you make your whole neighborhood look worse and let everything go on down there. But you don't want to tell nothing. You don't want to. But you want to live around. But you got to live around this. You know, it's accountability. It is some accountability, and you know what I'm saying, regardless on what, everybody has somebody in their family that might live around a situation like that or whatever. Or might, you know what I'm saying, everybody isn't always, you know, do well enough to do it, where you might live around in a white neighborhood, but you live around people of color or black people that have stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Y'all will do differently than if you around a bunch of niggas. Niggas don't want to tell on each other. It's like they like that shit. And they think it's cool to be niggerish. But you know what I'm saying? They're not going to hold each other accountable because they think that, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to snitch. That's what it is. That snitch culture is what got them, is the snitch culture. And that's where the accountability has to be held. Not to understand G saying it's not for him to say because he's not around it. But the people that are around it has to be held accountable, hold each other accountable for what they're doing. Am I right? You know, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, I think, like you said, family's one thing, right? I think generally speaking, you should have a capacity to kind of do more, say, for someone who is your family than someone who's not. Just like generally speaking, like I believe in that sort of like code, if you will. Like you should, if you have the ability to help family or look out for family and so forth, like, or help them, hold them accountable, like I can agree with that. But you know, like if unless you're gonna make it your mission to dedicate yourself to that as like almost like a, you know, career, or, you know, like that's like what you're really doing, I you know, the reality is a lot of this quote unquote, you know, nigga shit that we see is a result of you know, economic situations and lack of opportunities and a host of other factors as well, that if these things aren't addressed, regardless of whatever accountability, it's going to be tough to really negate or, you know, alleviate these problems over time, because the systemic things that lead to these problems are going to always keep providing or producing these certain outcomes. So that's why I say it's not really, you know, if we really want to, like in my head, if I really want to do something to move the needle on helping, say, with nigga shit, then it's like you have to create opportunities for niggas to do other shit. And that to me is more of how you help alleviate it than like trying to go in and try and tell people how to act or encourage them to be different. You really got to give them opportunities to do shit that they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, I accept that, but I'm saying, like, when it came down to things like school busing and things of that nature, right? That was supposed to be like something where they went to school over here, and you know what I'm saying, that they give them more opportunity, and they'd be around. They wouldn't have to be in this situation and things like that. You have 4th and 5th generation people that standing at the same damn bus stop. An 8-year-old standing at the same bus stop her grandma stood at. Her grandma's mama stood at that same. Some people just ain't. They don't. No matter what you do, they're not gonna work hard enough for one to get up out of them situations. And you can't always help everybody. You can try to, but that's what I'm saying. It's generational ignorance. You understand what I'm saying? And it's suicidal mentality. They killing their own self mentally, and they push that shit down from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. It's not. It's like it's force fed into them that they just want to be there. They why I can't do this? Why I can't do that? You can do whatever. You can do a little bit better, even if you move from the projects to apartment building or something like this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That you a nice area condo, you know, you might be renting or whatever. That's a step ahead above where you came from. But when you standing at the same damn bus stop as an 8-year-old that your grandma stood at, y'all ain't did shit, ain't went no damn where, and ain't nobody listened, and nobody helped. They tried to help y'all, but y'all ain't want to help y'all own self. You know what I'm saying?
Fellas,
some people you can't help.
I agree.
I definitely. I mean, I agree. I do think, you know, the accountability is like, as far as giving people opportunities, and the best way to hold people accountable is through some type of empathy, and that's the only way that you're really gonna see change. Is you have to, like G said, you have to go in and give people opportunities, and you can't just abandon communities and tell them, you know, pull you up by the bootstraps if there's nothing going on in those communities. That's why I think it's so important for the people that do have opportunities, people that do, you know, get out and see more, to go back and, you know, reach that hand out and try to be that bridge to do it. Because if we don't do it, we know the other side ain't gonna do it. If like we don't have empathy for the hood, who's gonna have it? White people already said they're getting tired of it, so I think somebody has to, have some type of empathy and try to help these people out.
All right.
Gotcha. All right. G, did you have something you wanted to land with, or?
No, we good.
All right. So I'm gonna play a random icebreaker that got threw into us. I feel like we've kind of unpacked and led to a resolve inside that conversation for the most part. I think G, you sent this one in. I'm gonna push play and let's see where it takes us.
If fewer people are getting married, does that suggest that the people who do get married are more committed to the institution, and that explains the reduction in divorces?
Yeah, so there's sort of, good news and bad news here, right? The bad news from my perspective for adults is that fewer Americans are marrying. We're projecting now that about 1 in 3 young adults today will never marry. It's going to be a record low when it comes to permanent bachelors, permanent bachelorettes, right? And that's problematic because they're more likely to be floundering on any number of emotional, social, and financial measures. But the good news here for kids, right, is that because marriage and family life, fertility become more selective in this contemporary. What that means is the kinds of people today who are having families, who are getting married, are relatively more advantaged, more affluent, more educated, more religious, and also more conservative. And those families, not surprisingly, what we're seeing is they're also more stably married as well.
We need to go on a.
That's fairly interesting. Yeah, I'll toss it to the panel. That's we'll start with G. What was your thoughts? What made you send that in?
Yeah, I mean, just because we talk about relationships sometimes and talk about, marriage, and what did he call those? He said serial bachelors, or what did he call them?
Johnny. What did they call you?
I'm just single.
Oh man, because he said, I think he said, what he said, 1 in 3. Only 1 in 3.
It'd have been like they call me daddy, but listen, that's above it. That's above the grade. That's above the game.
Hey, it ain't enough joints in here tonight, man, for these kind of jokes.
But like, I think it's interesting, like, because like traditionally speaking, when you look at men in power and men in successful positions, there's oftentimes family associated with that, right? Like this idea of running for president being single is kind of like, it's like how could you run for president and be single, right? It's like it's almost, assume that if you're doing certain things in society that you are, as a man, married to a woman and have a family. And so I'm curious, like on a couple things,
you brought
like
this up before, like the ilk. Like a lot of times being inside like different rooms, it's almost an assumption that to make it into certain rooms, you have to be bringing a wife. You have to be bringing like maybe the word was prestige. I forget the word that you
right.
used.
Like, yeah, you get invited to an event and everybody's there with their wives except you
And
every
you
single time.
You're the hot shot bachelor.
Yeah.
You just don't kind of
I've even heard that as far as like from hiring managers, as far as like there's certain jobs where you are considered a better candidate based on having a family and being married versus the single guy. So I mean, I definitely understand that as far as there's certain positions. I think there are certain people, and we're living in the world where
John Beans is a wild boy.
That's changing. Not for robots, but I think there are places where like you're single. I think we will see a single president in our lifetime. I think we will, or like we already see a divorced president, or a president, because like I thought for a chance like Trump was gonna get divorced.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's such a taboo thing when certain men in position is like Melania knows she can't divorce this nigga.
Yeah, but I thought there was gonna be a chance where we saw that, but she still didn't. And I think like what you said, I think that played a big part in that for sure.
What I'll say is that I think that is interesting stats when it comes down to, because you often hear that there is a decline in the volume of people getting married, and it's framed inside a negative way. But if that also comes with a increase of stability, is it actually negative? And I think that, like, in essence, that's the point that he was trying to build to. And if that means that more people are being selective inside the people, like the people that are actually getting married, then what you're doing is trimming the fat, right? Less people that don't care for the institution of being married are getting married, and more people that are deciding to get married are getting married intentionally. I guess in essence, I think that's a good thing. It sounds like you nipping at the buzz to get in. I know that you are our resident anti-marriage guy. Talk to us.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with having a great relationship, but I don't think you have to get married in order to, to have a great relationship. But also, you know what I'm saying, when you the single guy that's always around, and this is at least from my experience of it. When you the single guy, y'all going around events and everybody bring their ladies around, their family stuff or whatever. I found that it was always weird because somebody there, it's always a female there that might like you or you might like her, and y'all might get into it. And after a while, I seen to where I had ran through so much and so many, it was uncomfortable to go around because I done you know what I'm saying?
They got two of them in the same room.
3, 4 of them in the same room. You understand what I'm saying? And it puts you at a disadvantage. And then when you find somebody, you really can't take your lady around them no more because you know what I'm saying. You around them and everybody, and next thing you know, they got a whole cult against you. I hate this, and all of them. Was it your fault? Was it your fault though? You know what I'm saying? You a man doing what men do.
That's what
ain't nobody make nobody. I ain't did it nobody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't made nobody do nothing. Hey, if all y'all in the same room at the same time, how y'all doing? And go about my business. You know what I'm saying?
Don't we wish it was like that? Like I have such interesting stories. I done been it. Never mind.
That's what I'm saying. You become. It's a feeling. It hurt. It hurt, but it's funny all at the same time. It don't hurt in no painful way. It hurt because you kind of like, oh God, I got to see her again. You done been there and you doing that.
I got two commentaries to that. One, this is one thing that I was just talking to a friend not too long ago, and I was kind of talking like the situation that you about to engage in is a crash out scenario, right? But this is a understood crash out scenario with a person that you know that like you're gonna end up having to be around a lot. Like this person doesn't end anything ever good, but like like it's a crash out scenario. It might be fun for a second, but it's a crash out.
That shit make it.
But during like the tenure of like your life, you're gonna be around this person a lot. Is it worse? Is it worth actually engaging inside the thing? Like, as in, like, do you pop somebody that you know the shit gonna end up toxic, even though you know that you're gonna have to be around them consistently?
Is it worth it?
As an adult, like
you got to X that. Like,
yeah, that's the difference between like being an adult and not as a real one. Because like that's just a simple discipline. It's just a discipline.
I agree.
And are we talking about risk it all, or we just talking about it's gonna be a little awkward at Thanksgiving?
Like all I'm saying is that like if this person has a history of crashing out with everybody, right? They have a history of crashing out with everybody, and now you next step it back. But you also know just the way that everything is built, and like you're going to end up having to be around that person consistently. Either way, right? Is it worth the crash out? Like it's like they don't like it crashes every single time. Is it worth it? To me, the answer is no.
No.
If you 22, 25, and you just a horny ass kid, I get it.
Yeah.
Like we all done did that. Like we've done that part. I get that. But once we get into like the mid 30s, to me, these aren't endeavors that you should be embarking on. And like saying all that to say, the other point that I was going to make is that I think that it just becomes an age where for me, all of the extra shit just becomes like extra shit, and I just feel like it makes sense to avoid the extra shit, like the having to worry about like all the young bullshit. Like if you was outside and you was young and you had enough fun, you understand all the headache that comes with that shit.
Exactly.
And to me, there's a point where you get, and it's like, there's stability, there's like convenient daily box, there's like peace, there's like all these things that like you could just put right over here, and then it's like delinquent shit. Sometimes that delinquent shit is fun as a motherfucker.
But see,
like deciding on those two at a point, it's like, you know what? Peace is so much more fire.
But
than all this grass over here. That's my opinion.
This point is related to the meme because that's the thing about the serial bachelors. No disrespect, is
Johnny.
It leads to more degeneracy because, like the guy was also saying, the married men tend to be more conservative, which to me is suggesting that non-married men would lean more progressive and liberated, if you will, with their endeavors and things of that nature. So I'm taking that into account. So when we look at, so it's like, let's scale that out, right? We talk about this degeneracy in the culture, but niggas don't want to step up and play the role of good husbands. So, hey, look, until we step up and be leaders, then what we gonna do?
Yeah, but I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you.
You don't have to be nobody's husband to be good. You don't have to be nobody's husband to be good. What do a good husband got to do with anything? That just means I'm good from this paperwork I've signed. Why can't you just be a good human being?
Good humans, team good human.
You understand what I'm saying? And you can still be there and be a father for your kids and all this stuff. But you know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with husband. That's just paperwork. That's putting the government in your relationship, to me. And it's something that, to be honest with you, I don't feel like that it's something that's necessarily, unless you want stuff to just be documented or whatever. But like I say before, you can go and sign papers and find you a lawyer and write up you a contract, and it'll be just as good as that marriage would be.
And I'll say this,
but you still got a documented you still got a documented union that you agree to sign with a partner, right?
But the government ain't in it.
But
the government is not in it.
Do you got a driver's license?
Yeah.
All right. You got a passport?
No, I don't have a passport. I don't travel like that right there.
You voted?
I vote, yeah. Mm-hmm. The government. I understand what you're saying.
You pay taxes?
Yeah. I understand where you're getting at.
So why does this one facet is like, nah, this is where I draw the line where I'm not messing with the government?
The government don't control my dick.
Because of them hoes.
Hey.
That's my dick.
Hey, man.
I ain't gonna lie. This is what Uncle and Trey gonna agree every time.
That's the union. But I want to say this as a guy who never got married.
Okay.
I think because I've seen people and y'all talk about stability and all of that stuff, but I've seen people who my age who've been through 2 marriages already.
True.
And so what's more stable? Like if you take your time and somebody that get married later, somebody who a lot of time the early marriages they do burn out.
Oh, I'm not a fan of early marriage. I don't advocate that.
And so like you can rush through a marriage and rush to get married, but if we in a culture where it's okay to divorce, then it's okay to just rush to get married. But I think it is something that should be, because I'm not anti-marriage just because I'm single.
Yeah, I would say to me, the main stipulation. Well, one I would say is that I don't advocate anybody to get married early. To me, I would be like, you could probably think about that. Hey, Unc, we can hear the beat, but I don't advocate anybody to get married early only because of I knew what I was at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Like we could just go up to about almost close to like 28, 29. When a light switch hit and I was like, oh shit, let me search and find something decent. And then I had to learn how to find that, right? Like I think that the important part is making it make sense. If it makes sense, then it makes sense. A lot of shit don't make sense, and niggas will try to make it make sense. And yeah, like to me, like that's the main piece that I would give to what you're saying.
Hey, Steve hit it on the head. Pause.
What do you say?
If she cool with the courthouse, then she the one. Like that's a great litmus test, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, it's nothing. I don't hate nobody for getting married or whatever, but you know, it's to each his own when it comes down to it. You know, everybody. It seems to me, but one thing I can say is that it seems like a man that's a married man or somebody that's in a kind of like stable relationship normally does better in life. You know.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the peace.
That's when they married to a good woman, though.
Unc, are you hardcore with it? Are you like, will you move out? So will you live with a chick and then move out like right before that common law year hit so that you can wiggle out of there, or like do you not cohabitate at all?
Nah, hey, me and my old lady been together so damn long. I'm sure common law it's factored in there some damn way. We got property together and all kind of shit. So you know what I'm saying? Basically, we married. We just the government just ain't in control of my dick. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's still mine. It's still mine. That's all I'm saying.
That might be a
good little landing spot.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, we made it to our mark. We had 3 hours. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to the guys in the chat. Again, Discord. Make sure that y'all hit the Discord. The Discord link is in the it's in the description, but I'll also try and put it into the chat before we finish off this. Matter of fact, and like that, I just put it in there. Make sure that y'all follow the Discord. It's been an interesting conversation. It seems that black fatigue, the idea of white America becoming tired of, as Unc said, nigga shit. Decent, really good discourse about it. I don't know, fellas. I guess I'll leave y'all with closing thoughts and then I'll wrap the show. G.
Man, yeah, like I said, I think if this is something that is that's bothering you or something that you're starting to feel uneasy about, I would just say you might want to take some deep breaths and prepare, because it's just the pot is just getting stirred. I think these next few years we're gonna see a lot more similar outbursts and things of that nature. So you know, just get ready, because people feel empowered, and I would just say protect your peace. Protect your peace. You don't, just because you see something don't mean it's your business all the time, right? Like you got to make business decisions out here of when you're gonna really expend your energy and get at the other people. So just protect your peace at all times would be my recommendation.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah, I would just say, like, if if black fatigue is like you said, if that's something you're struggling with or you feeling like you're tired of that, I'd say tap into real conversations, dig a little deeper outside of what you just see in the news, outside of just the headlines, what you hear in music. And you'll see there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers to this conversation we just had. And I think a lot of times things are a lot more optimistic than we give it hope for, than we give it credit for. But sometimes you just have to look for that silver lining a little bit. And so when it's, when it seems hard, or you tired of listening, or as a black people, when we get tired of going through the struggle, there's always something positive to cling on to, and there's always, layers to anything that you see. So just dig a little deeper and find something positive.
Damn, look at you, Johnny. That was a good little wrap up. But unfortunately, I got to throw the Unc. Unc gonna turn.
Yeah, I figure like this. If you tired, be tired. Who cares? That's part of you. If you tired, okay, that's your feelings. Who cares about your feelings? You know, but like I'm saying, you know, everybody tired of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? It's just ignorance that people should be tired of, not black people. Because black people, we don't bother nobody. We don't do nothing wrong. We not niggas. And that's the whole thing, like I'm saying. They're tired of nigga shit. And we tired of nigga shit. But to say put it on our whole just because us being black, you tired of black. Are you saying you tired of our culture? You tired of us being around? You know, what are you saying? The tiredness is, you know, but if you tired, go take a damn nap. Sit your ass down somewhere. You know? Who cares about you being tired? You brought us over here, deal with us. You done brought us over here.
That is a theory.
That's it.
All right, with my bad. With that said, this has been Unpacked. And shout out to the chat. Shout out to the Discord. Make sure that y'all join the Discord. I just put it in there. Again, at the top, that is G. That is Johnny. Appreciate the call in. We had A Black on the line. John Means, appreciate you, man. And like that, this has been a great show, been a fun show, good dialogue. And we out. Peace.